What sets AIR2 and AIR3 apart in UPSC CSE 2024? They didn't wait to feel ready. They started smart with the GS Foundation course at Vision IS Delhi. Structured learning, focused current affairs, real mentorship, test feedback that actually helps you grow. This course isn't just about study hours, it's about direction, clarity and the strategy toppers trust. Start strong. Start where toppers started.
UPSC preparation is not just about reading books or watching online lectures. It requires personal guidance, real discussions, and structured practice. This is where offline mentoring makes all the difference. Unlike online learning, where doubts often remain unresolved, offline mentoring offers direct interaction, real-time feedback, and an environment of discipline and competition. One-to-one sessions help students get tailored advice, strategy corrections, and focused improvement. Every aspirant has different strengths and weaknesses. Personal mentoring helps address them effectively. Ground discussions sharpen analytical thinking and help students develop a multi-dimensional perspective on issues crucial for prelims, mains, and interview. Elocution sessions help in personality development, clarity of thought, and confidence, essential for UPSC interviews. Test writing is the most crucial part of UPSC preparation. It helps in time management, structuring answers, and improving content quality. Offline mentoring is not just about teaching. It's about grooming future officers with the right guidance, discipline, and confidence. So if you are preparing for UPSC, make sure you have the right mentor by your side.
Are you still juggling newspapers, random notes, and endless PDFs trying to make sense of current affairs? Let's make your UPSC prep smarter. Introducing Digital Current Affairs Premium by Vision IAS, your all-in-one platform to read, revise, and write better every single day. Have a doubt from today's news or something in your syllabus? Just ask and get instant AI-powered answers that are concise, relevant, and completely aligned with the UPSC exam pattern. No more guesswork, no more confusion. Want to boost your mains writing skills? Practice daily with structured questions and get expert feedback to sharpen your content, clarity, and analysis, because writing well is winning half the battle. Need better revision? Use quick notes and highlights to save key points, mark important lines, and organize your current affairs in a way that actually works for you. And here's the best part, some of the most powerful tools are absolutely free. Daily news summaries from The Hindu, Indian Express, and more, curated, filtered, and exam ready. Downloadable PDFs so your notes stay organized and accessible. Daily quizzes and MCQs to reinforce what you've learned and track your progress. A smart student dashboard to monitor your performance and stay on top of your goals. Whether you're just starting or deep into your prep, Digital Current Affairs Premium adapts to your strategy and makes every minute count. So why prepare the hard way when you can prepare the smart way? Visit www.visionis.in/current-affairs and start transforming your current affairs prep today. Because with Vision IAS, you don't just stay updated, you stay ahead.
Hello. Mic check, hello.
UPSC CSE 2024 results are out and dreams have turned into ranks. Now you are asking, how do I get there? You've got the drive. What you need is the right guidance. Lakshya Integrated Mentoring Program 2026 by Vision IAS is your one-stop guidance program for prelims, mains, and interview. Smart, strategic revision for prelims and mains. Consistent mentorship with personalized feedback. Daily weekly schedule and practice targets. Custom test practice via Sandhan test series. Interview and personality test training. All of it structured to guide you, strategic to keep you focused, and designed to meet your evolving needs. New batch starts from 19th May. It's your turn now. Start strong with Lakshya Mentoring Program 2026.
What sets AIR2 and AIR3 apart in UPSC CSE 2024? They didn't wait to feel ready. They started smart with the GS Foundation course at Vision IAS Delhi. Structured learning, focused current affairs, real mentorship, test feedback that actually helps you grow. This course isn't just about study hours. It's about direction, clarity, and the strategy toppers trust. Start strong. Start where toppers started.
UPSC preparation is not just about reading books or watching online lectures. It requires personal guidance, real discussions, and structured practice. This is where offline mentoring makes all the difference. Unlike online learning, where doubts often remain unresolved, offline mentoring offers direct interaction, real-time feedback, and an environment of discipline and competition. One-to-one sessions help students get tailored advice, strategy corrections, and focused improvement. Every aspirant has different strengths and weaknesses. Personal mentoring helps address them effectively. Ground discussions sharpen analytical thinking and help students develop a multi-dimensional perspective on issues crucial for prelims, mains, and interview. Elocution sessions help in personality development, clarity of thought, and confidence, essential for UPSC interviews. Test writing is the most crucial part of UPSC preparation. It helps in time management, structuring answers, and improving content quality. Offline mentoring is not just about teaching, it's about grooming future officers with the right guidance, discipline, and confidence. So if you are preparing for UPSC, make sure you have the right mentor by your side.
Are you still juggling newspapers, random notes, and endless PDFs trying to make sense of current affairs? Let's make your UPSC prep smarter. Introducing Digital Current Affairs Premium by Vision IAS, your all-in-one platform to read, revise, and write better every single day. Have a doubt from today's news or something in your syllabus? Just ask and get instant AI-powered answers that are concise, relevant, and completely aligned with the UPSC exam pattern. No more guesswork, no more confusion. Want to boost your mains writing skills? Practice daily with structured questions and get expert feedback to sharpen your content, clarity, and analysis, because writing well is winning half the battle. Need better revision? Use quick notes and highlights to save key points, mark important lines, and organize your current affairs in a way that actually works for you. And here's the best part, some of the most powerful tools are absolutely free. Daily news summaries from The Hindu, Indian Express, and more, curated, filtered, and exam ready. Downloadable PDFs so your notes stay organized and accessible. Daily quizzes and MCQs to reinforce what you've learned and track your progress. A smart student dashboard to monitor your performance and stay on top of your goals. Whether you're just starting or deep into your prep, Digital Current Affairs Premium adapts to your strategy and makes every minute count. So why prepare the hard way when you can prepare the smart way? Visit www.visionis.in/current-affairs and start transforming your current affairs prep today. Because with Vision IAS, you don't just stay updated, you stay ahead. UPSC CSE 2024 results are out and dreams have turned into ranks. Now you are asking, how do I get there? You've got the drive. What you need is the right guidance. Lakshya Integrated Mentoring Program 2026 by Vision IAS is your one-stop guidance program for prelims, mains, and interview. Smart, strategic revision for prelims and mains. Consistent mentorship with personalized feedback. Daily weekly schedule and practice targets. Custom test practice via Sandhan test series. interview and personality test training. All of it structured to guide you, strategic to keep you focused, and designed to meet your evolving needs. New batch starts from 19th May. It's your turn now. Start strong with Lakshya Mentoring Program 2026.
What sets AIR2 and AIR3 apart in UPSC CSE 2024? They didn't wait to feel ready. They started smart with the GS Foundation course at Vision IS Delhi. Structured learning, focused current affairs, real mentorship, test feedback that actually helps you grow. This course isn't just about study hours, it's about direction, clarity, and the strategy toppers trust. Start strong. Start where toppers started.
UPSC preparation is not just about reading books or watching online lectures. It requires personal guidance, real discussions, and structured practice. This is where offline mentoring makes all the difference. Unlike online learning, where doubts often remain unresolved, offline mentoring offers direct interaction, real-time feedback, and an environment of discipline and competition. One-to-one sessions help students get tailored advice, strategy corrections, and focused improvement. Every aspirant has different strengths and weaknesses. Personal mentoring helps address them effectively. Ground discussions sharpen analytical thinking and help students develop a multi-dimensional perspective on issues crucial for prelims, mains, and interview. Elocution sessions help in personality development, clarity of thought, and confidence, essential for UPSC interviews. Test writing is the most crucial part of UPSC preparation. It helps in time management, structuring answers, and improving content quality. Offline mentoring is not just about teaching, it's about grooming future officers with the right guidance, discipline, and confidence. So if you are preparing for UPSC, make sure you have the right mentor by your side.
Are you still juggling newspapers, random notes, and endless PDFs trying to make sense of current affairs? Let's make your UPSC prep smarter. Introducing Digital Current Affairs Premium by Vision IAS, your all-in-one platform to read, revise, and write better every single day. Have a doubt from today's news or something in your syllabus? Just ask and get instant AI-powered answers that are concise, relevant, and completely aligned with the UPSC exam pattern. No more guesswork, no more confusion. Want to boost your mains writing skills? Practice daily with structured questions and get expert feedback to sharpen your content, clarity, and analysis, because writing well is winning half the battle. Need better revision? Use quick notes and highlights to save key points, mark important lines, and organize your current affairs in a way that actually works for you. And here's the best part, some of the most powerful tools are absolutely free. Daily news summaries from The Hindu, Indian Express and more, curated, filtered, and exam ready. Downloadable PDFs so your notes stay organized and accessible. Daily quizzes and MCQs to reinforce what you've learned and track your progress. A smart student dashboard to monitor your performance and stay on top of your goals. Whether you're just starting or deep into your prep, Digital Current Affairs Premium adapts to your strategy and makes every minute count. So why prepare the hard way when you can prepare the smart way? Visit www.visionis.in/current-affairs and start transforming your current affairs prep today. Because with Vision IAS, you don't just stay updated, you stay ahead. UPSC CSE 2024 results are out and dreams have turned into ranks. Now you are asking, how do I get there? You've got the drive. What you need is the right guidance. Lakshya Integrated Mentoring Program 2026 by Vision IAS is your one-stop guidance program for prelims, mains, and interview. Smart, strategic revision for prelims and mains. Consistent mentorship with personalized feedback. Daily weekly schedule and practice targets. Custom test practice via Sandhan test series. Interview and personality test training. All of it structured to guide you, strategic to keep you focused, and designed to meet your evolving needs. New batch starts from 19th May. It's your turn now. Start strong with Lakshya Mentoring Program 2026.
What sets AIR2 and AIR3 apart in UPSC CSE 2024? They didn't wait to feel ready. They started smart with the GS Foundation course at Vision IAS Delhi. Structured learning, focused current affairs, real mentorship, test feedback that actually helps you grow. This course isn't just about study hours, it's about direction, clarity, and the strategy toppers trust. Start strong. Start where toppers started.
Hello, good afternoon. I do not intend to make this a very long session, but I do want to talk about that how can we improve our answer writing, particularly for science tech in mains examination. So this is very specific to mains examination, and I know that many students fear this subject in the sense that for prelims, for example, there are few things. The syllabus is much huge in case of prelims. In main syllabus is much more specific, but now you have to write things. You have to, whatever you know, you have to write on a piece of paper. And that can be a challenging if you do not have a background in this subject. So as a result, I have found that students from humanities background, for example, they feel this anxiety in tackling this particular subject. And my purpose of this session here is, my goal of this session will be that the same way you do not have to fear this for prelims, you do not also have to fear this even for mains examination. I'm going to divide this session into a few parts. We'll talk about some very basic general ideas. Then we'll talk about specific to science tech, what we need to do. I'm going to show you a few answers of this year's toppers, some of the answers, not a lot, but some of the answers, which I liked. And in the end, I'm going to take questions from you, and also have some exercise which maybe you can do. At least I have 4 questions, maybe at least one. If you can practice here itself, that will be amazing. Okay. So let's start this session. Let's start with some very basic general things which you already know, but let's talk about them nonetheless. This is the syllabus given in mains paper 3. Science and technology, developments and their applications and effects in everyday life. Achievements of Indians in science and technology, indigenization of technology and developing new technology. And then certain keywords are given and you're supposed to be aware about them, such as information technology or space technology, computers, robotics, nanotechnology, biotechnology, and intellectual property rights. These are some of the domains which you're supposed to be aware about them. So the first stage of your preparation for mains will be that you familiarize with all these keywords and you have some ready-made points for almost all of these keywords, right? So for example, how I will think about mains examination. The first keyword can mean anything, by the way. Science and technology, developments and applications. That includes everything. Like anything which is in current affairs, you can expect questions from those topics. But this is very specific, effects in everyday life. Okay, so a starting point will be that I will think about this question, that how science and technology affects our everyday life. How our life is woven around science and technology. In daily life, how we are using it in different type of domains. So maybe I will prepare a few important points and examples for that. Achievements of Indians in science and technology. This is very specific, that you are supposed to know about Indian scientists and Indian origin scientists also maybe, but mostly Indian scientists. And for example, for this year examination, I will remember about Dr. Kasturi Rangan. He just died a few months ago, and that is a topic I'm going to prepare well, that what are his contributions, both in space as well as his contribution towards environment. Okay, so that is an important theme I will prepare for this year examination. Then all of these keywords, in our mind, we should be very clear about that when we use the word information technology, what do we mean? When we use space technology, what do we mean? And similarly, for all of these words, that we should be very clear about biotechnology and its different domains, space technology and its different domains, nanotechnology and its different domains. We should be very clear about it. So that is my first level of preparation, that I familiarize myself with all of these keywords and I know about all of these keywords in detail with examples. जैसे एक यहाँ पे दे रखा है indigenization of technology जैसे एक theme है. I am expecting a question on this topic again, on this topic. जैसे particularly defense indigenization and semiconductor industry पे I expect that there can be a good question on defense indigenization. Given the backdrop of Operation Sindoor, I do expect that this theme can be picked by UPSC this year. Similarly, I'm very sure you guys know about semiconductor manufacturing, that so much of impetus has been given by Government of India on this particular domain. So I'll prepare that topic, that why semiconductor, the entire semiconducting ecosystem, and where India is trying to fit itself into in the entire ecosystem of semiconductor. And should we do that? Should we not do that? So we'll do a proper critical evaluation. So this is a theme I will prepare for this year examination, which will perfectly fit into this topic, indigenization of technology and developing new technology, right? So, but anyways, this is my first level of preparation, that I know about all of these keywords. I have some ready-made points. Just say in indigenization of technology, I will have some ready-made point that which are the domains where indigenization is much more important. Why we are not able to do a lot in those particular domains. Is it because of crunch of funds? If that is a reason, then a good answer will include how much fund we allocate versus what other countries do. So I am already I already have jumped into that how should we approach a particular topic. That let's say this is a very standard challenge you'll write in many type of questions, that lack of funds. We can write lack of funds in many different type of topics. You can use this as a challenge. But a good answer will include that you'll substantiate that with some data point, right? So we'll do that. Anyways, I will come to this about a good answer. Apart from all the keywords which are given in your syllabus, I particularly think that these are the actual keywords. These are the things you should take very seriously, that if a question is asked, then I can fit those questions in any of those domains. Now, some of the themes are not given in your syllabus, but UPSC has asked questions from them. So, the first theme is space technology and astronomy. So, space technology is directly mentioned in your syllabus. Astronomy is not, but you can expect questions even from astronomy. The second, IT and computers, I have included that together. So, all of the advancements in computing as well as in communication, I have included that into ICT. Biotechnology and health, two different topics by the way, I have included them together, both are related to biology. So biotechnology and health is another domain you expect questions from. Nuclear technology in itself as a domain, but one of the domain of nuclear technology is nuclear energy production. And that nuclear energy production can also fit here in this very separate category I have included here, energy resources. This is a topic which has become very popular for prelims for last few years. Only one question in mains till date, but I do think that this is a theme which is going to remain important for mains examination also. So I'll prepare this really well. The most recent advancements in defense technology, for example, I mentioned one, indigenization. Another theme I will prepare really well is role of drones, that how UAVs are changing the nature of warfare, right? And what are the strengths of drone-based warfare and what are the limitations of drone-based warfare and all of that. So I'll prepare that as a theme. If not this year, then maybe next year, but this is an important theme for me. Nanotechnology is given in your syllabus, but I will also prepare if there are advancements happening in material sciences, like there are some exotic materials. अभी तक prelims में question आया material science पे, mains में एक बार आया था बहुत साल पहले 2013 में, उसके बाद नहीं आया है. But I still think that a question on advancements in material sciences, जैसे अभी Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, they had a dedicated program on graphene. So I'll prepare about graphene as a topic, or quantum dots were in news few years ago, or they always remain in news. So I'll prepare that. Aerogels remain in news, this lightest solid, amazing properties. So whenever you come across some exotic materials with unique properties, and those materials have applications in specific domain, then I'll prepare that also as a theme for mains examination. ये जो topic है next, ये evergreen topic है. Energy resources. Think of India as a nation. One of the biggest challenge which we are facing and we are going to face will be how to become energy secure as a nation. And this comes in backdrop of the fact that we need to phase out our fossil fuel. We need to reduce our dependence upon coal. That's not good for us. That's not good for environment. It leads to so many problems. So we need to find better sources. One of the sources, of course, will be nuclear energy, which we have included here in nuclear technology. But we also have to think about solar energy and wind energy and hydropower And green hydrogen, by the way, a theme which has been asked many times now in prelims, but not in mains till now. So I'll prepare that as a theme really, really well for mains examination. That green hydrogen mission and overall what is green hydrogen. Or biofuel for that matter as a topic. So energy resources, and not only that, not only the energy resources, but in all of these alternative energy resources, for example, solar and wind, a very huge challenge is when you do not have sun energy, when you do not have wind energy. And then you need to invest into energy storage system, very large batteries which can store energy. For example, I do not have solar energy during night. So how do I fulfill my energy requirement during night? And I need to invest into energy storage. And I'm not talking about energy storage to run a mobile phone or a laptop. I'm talking about energy storage system to run a city. Do we have energy storage systems like that? If not, then what are the options available? What are the challenges associated with those options? Which are the best options? This type of questions you can expect in mains also. They already have been asked in prelims examination. And then these other keywords, not very important. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Like not that significant compared to the previous topics I just mentioned, but you can expect questions from those also. Yes, every 3-4 years you will expect a question on this topic, intellectual property rights. Robotics पे एक ही question आया था, but इस साल I think this is an important theme. So particularly robotics in general, that robotics and healthcare, let's say, application of robots in healthcare. But robotics again in defense, जैसे drones are also a type of robot. So अभी as I said earlier, that I will prepare this topic about drone in warfare really well for prelims or mains examination. So I do think that for this year I will read robotics as a topic, and robotics as a topic in general, but also robotics in defense in particular. ये एक important theme होगा. And other themes like achievements of Indians in science and technology, indigenization, science and technology in daily life. I'll prepare this also. So these are the keywords I will focus upon. I will focus upon these keywords at 2 levels. The first level will be that I know about all of these terms. I know their significance. I know their possible applications across various domains. And the second level will be that I will look into the current affairs development from these themes. So what is happening in biotechnology in the world, and particularly what is happening in India. Jaise, again, if I have to give one more example, in biotechnology I will read about genetically modified crop. That जो पूरा GM mustard को लेके debate है, वो अभी काफी दिनों से चल रहा है. So I will prepare that GM crop and the entire debate surrounding GM crop really well. Few hospitals are doing some amazing work in gene therapy, that how gene therapy can tackle certain type of diseases, and I will prepare that as a topic really well. तो पहला मेरा जो level of preparation होगा, a basic overview of the topic, let's say biotechnology, and the second level of preparation will be that I particularly focus upon themes which appear in newspapers a lot, and which have appeared a lot in last 1.5 or 2 years. So this is how I will prepare science and tech at 2 levels. A basic awareness about all of these words, basic points about all of these keywords I have mentioned, and then the second I will add the current affairs bit to make my answer even better. Number of questions, almost every year 3 questions, but 4 questions also, you can see. In 2024, last year, you had 2 questions on AI in paper 4 also. So that you have to be, at least AI as a topic can be asked in paper 2 and 3 and 4, and essay also, you can expect a essay also. But in any case, in paper 3, you can expect 3 or 4 questions almost every year. And even if I include environment, जैसे environment में भी आप एक तो environmental problems पढ़ते हो, but जब हम solution पढ़ते हैं, तो solution में भी एक जो part of solution है वो technological solution है. That what are the technological solution to tackle, let's say, air pollution, or what are the technological solution for energy storage, which I was talking about, or water pollution. So I have not included this here in the theme, because if UPSC does ask a question, I will categorize that as a question in environment. But remember, that is also important theme, that technological solutions to fight environmental problems. And think of the environmental problems: water pollution, air pollution, plastic pollution, right? These 3 most prominently, global warming and climate change. Fourth problem, solid waste management in general, waste to energy methods. So these are some of the themes I will prepare, which will be a topic of environment, but I will prepare that from the technological perspective, okay? And even if you do not have a dedicated question on these themes, always remember that it is going to help you in writing a better answer. That when you propose a futuristic conclusion, when you propose the way forward, and when you throw these keywords, it is going to help you in writing a better answer, right? So, ये हमको हमेशा ध्यान रखना है. चलो. So let's jump into the types of question which are asked by UPSC. As I said, that for in mains also you can have some static conceptual questions, but these are very few. Static conceptual questions will be very few, once in 3-4 years. And even if a static conceptual question is asked, it will often and always will be from a keyword which is directly given in your syllabus. Just a few years ago there was a question that how is science deeply interwoven into our life. अब वो syllabus में दे रखा है line में, science and technology in everyday life. So UPSC ने बस उस keyword से ही पूरा question बना दिया. Or a question like what do you understand by nanotechnology and what are its applications in healthcare. So these are very basic conceptual questions which have directly been picked from the keyword, and you can expect questions based on that. Most of the questions will be inspired from current affairs. I keep emphasizing upon that. So reading newspaper, reading magazines is going to be very helpful. And even then, by the way, these are the 4 domains UPSC is going to focus upon. You will have to have a very basic understanding that कोई भी question पूछा है उसका एक theme है, कोई टेक्नोलॉजी है, उस टेक्नोलॉजी का एक बेसिक जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग है वो आप इंट्रोडक्शन में लिखोगे. हमारा रेडीमेड इंट्रोडक्शन है साइंस टेक में. देयर इज अ स्पेसिफिक थीम, आई राइट अबाउट दैट पर्टिकुलर थीम इन माय इंट्रोडक्शन. देन द मेन बॉडी, द मेन फोकस ऑफ क्वेश्चन ऑफन विल इन्वॉल्व दैट what is the significance of this particular technology, or what are the applications of this particular technology. And UPSC often will not ask applications across many domains. They will often ask question that applications in a specific domain. Just let me give you a few examples from previous year. AI in healthcare, microbes for energy shortage crisis. Last year a question tha, how can microbes help us in solving energy crisis problem of the world. So that was a question of biofuel, that how microbes help us in production of biofuel. So question often will be not जैसे biotechnology का possible application हर जगह क्या है, ये नहीं होगा. Biotechnology का biopharma में क्या है, pharma industry में क्या application है. Biotechnology का how biotechnology can help farmers in doubling their income. That was a question asked by UPSC few years ago. So you should be very clear about applications of an emerging technology and try to think of all many possible domains, as many domains as you can think of. But remember, in examination, question will be on a very specific type of domain. Sometimes, if it's a 15-marker question, 250 words, you can also expect the challenges and limitations associated with a particular technology. That what are the issues and challenges, and what are the limitations of a particular technology. And even if the fourth part here, government initiatives, that even if it is not being, let's say, exclusively asked, I still think that you should know that becomes a ready-made conclusion. That as a concluding remark, you can talk about it and you can go to the next question. So even if it is not asked, I will try to fit it somewhere in my answer, either introduction or in the main body or somewhere in the conclusion. If there is no government initiative, and again we have to focus upon Union Government of India's initiative, that I have a specific mission by some ministry, right, some department of Union Government of India, then related to a particular theme. Just say, मान लो, if there is a question on AI, then I will definitely write about India AI mission. If there is a question on blockchains, I will definitely write about that national strategy on blockchain by Ministry of Electronics and IT. If there is a question on nanotechnology, then I will talk about, again, Ministry of Electronics and IT has a dedicated division which is working towards nanotechnology. So such type of ready-made points help you either as a fodder point in main body or help you in writing a good conclusion at the end of the answer. Okay. There can be, very rarely, there can be simply a government initiative based question. Just let's say National Quantum Mission. That there is a question on features of National Quantum Mission and what is India trying to achieve under this mission. Something like that. So that can also be asked by UPSC sometimes. So these are the possible types of questions you can expect. And remember that questions will be on a very basic understanding, applications, challenges. And I'm going to show you some answers also, that what people have written. And you'll realize that these are very simple but to the point answer. कहीं पे भी कोई भी जितने भी आंसर मैं आपको दिखाऊंगा कहीं पे कोई टेक्निकल जार्गन नहीं है, but still people have fulfilled the requirements of the question. Okay. What should you refer to? For mains, again I'm focusing upon mains. Mains 365 I do think is a great tool. That mains 365 आप पढ़ सकते हो, साल भर का compilation है, but if I'm appearing for this year mains examination, then I'll also try to read the previous year mains 360. तो इस साल का हम पढ़ेंगे ही पढ़ेंगे, जो पिछले साल का वो भी एक बार रन थ्रू कर लेंगे. जो मेन टॉपिक जैसे कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग थीम्स हैं जो इस साल नहीं दिया हुआ है, इस साल के मटेरियल में नहीं है बट पिछले साल में था, then I will prepare those topics also. The reason I am saying is that UPSC has now developed this habit of asking current affairs of last 2 years but not just last 1 year. So if I am appearing this year, then I will read this year mains 365 as well as previous year mains 365. But it goes without saying that never ever leave that habit of newspaper reading. And if you find a good editorial or explained page on a particular technology, then definitely do not miss that. And for government-based initiatives, that PIB is the best source. That if some Ministry of Science and Technology is doing something, or Ministry of Earth Sciences is doing something, or ISRO is doing something, so or Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology is doing something. So I'll prepare those things from PIB. And classroom handouts, of course, whatever handouts you have, whatever notes you have, keep revising that for that basic part of your, that basic introduction, basic definition. Those things you can do from classroom handout. The reason I'm focusing upon this, because there is no one source where you can find, like there is no one specific book where you can find every type of question and all of the requirements of UPSC. So it's more about you are aware about what is happening in the world. Not just in IR or economy, but also in technology, that what is happening in the world in the domain of technology. How will you make your notes for science and tech? Your notes has to be very crisp in your own words. It has to be very concise. And for every topic and subtopic, so जैसे पहले तो मेरा जो भी नोट्स है पहले हार्ड कॉपी या सॉफ्ट कॉपी है, whatever it is. Let's say that I make a soft copy. Then even in this soft copy, it should be very clearly bookmarked that science and technology का एक अलग से section है. And within science and technology, for example, I will use these keywords. That within science and technology, I have a separate subsection on space technology, I have a separate subsection on biotechnology, defense technology, energy resources. So I have a separate section for science and tech, and within that separate section I have separate subsections also. And whenever I come across some important development, then I will use that from newspapers. Then I will mention that only and only in that particular subsection. Why this is important? It is important for two reasons. That if you do all of that, revision becomes very, very easy. You'll realize that कि अगर आप ये खुद से चीजें करोगे, rather than कोई और आपको बना बनाया material दे रहा है, it's always good to do things by yourself. So revision becomes very easy. And second, that you'll realize that a lot of these topics, they keep on repeating. So you'll not do that duplication of effort. That's something you already have written down, and you know it already. So I do not have to again do the same thing again and again. So I will be very structured in my approach, in my notes making, and I will try to summarize things in my own words. I will focus on mentioning the keywords, and it goes without saying that you should have the capability of expanding those keywords in examination, right? So you do not have to, what do I mean by that? आपने हिंदू में कुछ पढ़ा एडिटोरियल में, आई एम नॉट कॉपी पेस्टिंग द इंटायर पैराग्राफ इन माई नोट्स. पूरे पैराग्राफ का अपना एक मेन क्रिस्प कंसाइज एक थीम है, वो कीवर्ड्स मैंने मेंशन किए, एंड व्हेन आई एम रिवाइजिंग देन आई नो द कीवर्ड्स and I have the capability that I can expand that keyword in a sentence or two in the examination. I know the keyword, I understand the keyword, and I can expand that in the examination. ये इस पे हमको काम करना है, right? So, by the way, that only and only comes from when you keep writing on a regular basis. So this is what I mean when I say that you have to be very crisp and concise for every topic and subtopic. The topic and subtopic classification is important. Keep updating. आपका एक बेसिक नोट्स बना हुआ है हर टॉपिक सब टॉपिक का. Now something is happening in current affairs, then keep updating that sub topic from current affairs. जैसे AI पे रेगुलेशन पे क्वेश्चन है, अब रेगुलेशन ऑफ AI एक आपका सब टॉपिक बना हुआ है, but within that something happened in India, something happened in the world, and you think that this is an important theme. You mention that just in one line. That's more than enough. That can be a good fodder point while writing answer. I hope you guys know how to make mind maps, how to make those branches, that I have a main theme, and from that main theme, how I can think of possible sub-branches, and then from those sub-branches, further sub-branches, and how I can connect various type of topics. So use mind maps, use flowcharts, overall in your note making, that helps you a lot. And ये चीज़ कोई आपको again करके दे versus आप खुद से बनाओ, वो खुद से बनाओ, उसका बहुत ज़्यादा वैल्यू है. किसी और का माइंड मैप वो किसी और ने अपने लॉजिक को यूज़ करके बनाया है. सो ये जो पूरा माइंड मैप को लेके आज जैसे मैं देखता हूँ बहुत सारे इंस्टीट्यूट्स हैं, आई एम वेरी श्योर दैट मे बी व्हेन विजनाइज डज दैट, कि माइंड मैप एक बना होता है, उसका कोई यूटिलिटी नहीं है जब तक आपने खुद से उसको बनाया नहीं है, खुद से समझा नहीं है. सो इफ़ यू आर डूइंग दिस देन डू दिस, एटलीस्ट डू दिस एक्सरसाइज बाय योर सेल्फ. दैट आपने स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी पूरा पढ़ लिया, अपने बायोटेक पूरा पढ़ लिया, डिफेंस टेक पढ़ लिया, अब एक हमने एक फ्लो चार्ट एक माइंड मैप बनाया दैट एट द सेंटर यू कीप डिफेंस टेक्नोलॉजी, and then you are making various branches and sub branches from that you have various sub branches, that in defense technology you are reading about, let's say, missiles first, and then you are reading about, let's say, air capability, fighter jet capability. You are making a notes on UAVs, and then again in UAVs you are making sub branches here. So do this exercise by yourself. Once you complete a topic, then do this exercise by yourself, and that has a lot of value rather than using somebody else prepared notes. Okay, so this is how I will make notes. I will completely avoid jargon. This is particularly important for students who do have a science background, that sometimes it happens, it does not happen all the time, but sometimes it happens that you have a strength area. जैसे मान लो कि आपका political science optional है, and I have seen people getting bad score in paper 2 with political science as an optional, because you become so technical in your answer writing and you start quoting scholars in polity answers and IR answers. You do not have to do that. This is GS, general studies. I have seen people with economics optional getting bad marks in paper 3, right? So sometimes you have to be very clear about that optional का requirement क्या है, GS का requirement क्या है. So this last point is important for students with science background, that don't try to make your answer with lot of technical jargon. Do not assume that जो आपका आंसर चेक करेंगे वो कोई उनका प्रॉपर एक टेक्निकल बैकग्राउंड हो, राइट? तो ये ज़रूरी नहीं है. सो ये जनरल स्टडीज़ है, एंड हम फोकस इसीलिए जितना हम क्रिस्प, कंसाइज, सिंपल, लूसिड लैंग्वेज हम यूज़ कर सकें हम उतना यूज़ करेंगे. ठीक है. सो avoid rote learning technique, avoid jargon without comprehension. Lot of people, they think that this ये बड़ा beautiful sentence है, हिंदू में पढ़ा, आपको समझ नहीं आया बट सुंदर लग रहा है तो आपने उसको नोट कर लिया. Don't do that. If you cannot comprehend something, again avoid that. So if you are trying to summarize something, then in your mind you should be very clear that what does it mean, what is the significance of that particular paragraph, and if you cannot do that, then again avoid that. In science tech, introductions are very simple and straightforward, because in each and every question there is a theme, and that theme, there is a particular theme, a particular technological theme, and a very good ready-made introduction will be that simply writing about that theme, even if it is not exclusively asked. जैसे बहुत बार तो यूपीएससी पूछ ही लेगी that what do you understand by AI, पूछ ही लिया यूपीएससी ने, तो आप शुरुआत ही ऐसे करना है. बट मान लो ये नहीं भी पूछा होता, जैसे पेपर 4 में लास्ट ईयर क्वेश्चन था that we should not rely upon AI as an input completely for administrative decision making, something like that. तो यहाँ पे पूछा नहीं है what is AI, but again I can start my answer with defining what is artificial intelligence, right? So in science tech, this is a very simple way of introducing your answer, that a question has a theme and you simply define that particular theme in the introduction. Let's say you do not want to do that. Even a better introduction can be that the reason that theme has been asked because it was in news for some reason. That कोई current affairs में कुछ हुआ था, आपको current affairs पता है, then write that current affairs in the introduction itself. इसका बहुत बड़ा एक positive impression ये होगा that examiner knows that you know the context in which this question has been asked, right? तो ये आप introduction में लिख दो that this happened, something in news or as per this report or as per this event, and you mention that, and then you proceed further. So that is another way how you can think of a good introduction. ये keywords का meaning वैसे बहुत ज़्यादा important है for topics in polity particularly, or even in economy for that matter. In science tech, these keywords have very less meaning, to be very honest with you, because in science tech questions will question पढ़ते ही बहुत clear होना चाहिए that is question going into technicality, because remember this is science tech. So is question emphasizing upon knowing the technical information, which they can do, but it will be very rare. They can do that. जैसे I will give you 2 example. एक क्वेश्चन आया था कुछ साल पहले, आई थिंक 3-4 साल पहले ही आया था, 2021 का क्वेश्चन है शायद. That a question was about blue LED light. Nobel Prize was given for blue LED light, and you are supposed to know about it. And then, of course, it had a part that how it has revolutionized a lot of things, right? So, knowing about blue LED light, that technical information. So there is some technical information which is expected out of you. Then there was a question asked by UPSC that what was the role of Dr. Satyendranath Bose in Bose-Einstein statistics, which revolutionized the field of physics. अब ये बिल्कुल ही technical question है. If I know the answer, then I will answer it. If I do not know the answer, I will skip it. So while reading the question, immediately it should be very clear that what is the expectation. Is the expectation that you are supposed to write the technical information, because after all it is science and technology, or is it about applications, so that is impact, is it about some policy, right? And often you will find that one question may carry more than one theme. जैसे question may ask the technical information and may also ask the application. Let's say you do not know a lot about technical information, right? जैसे I do not know the exact way how blue LED was made or whatever, but I know the application part of blue LED, that with blue LED now we can make white and so many different things, and then you are focusing upon the application part. So even if you know a sub part of the question, then write that sub part, okay? And also do not make up things for the other part. So there are 2 parts of the question. I know one part well, another part I do not know. Do not make up things. Do not try to like manufactured points in your head, and just because you are supposed to write 150 words and 250 words, you are fulfilling that word limit. ये याद रखना है कि कॉलेज का एग्जामिनेशन नहीं है, राइट? ये यूनिवर्सिटी में ही होता है ना कि 15 पेज का लिखना होता है आपको आंसर, ये नहीं करना है हमको. यहाँ पे हमको 1 पेज पता है, 1 पेज वर्थ पता है, 1 पेज वर्थ हम लिखेंगे. 2 नंबर मिलेगा हमको 15 नंबर में, सो व्हाट, बट 0 तो नहीं मिलेगा ना. ये इंपॉर्टेंट है. सो दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट हाउ मच आई नो, I will focus upon that much part itself, okay? So one question may carry more than one theme. Maybe I know all the theme, that's the best way, that's the best thing. Maybe I do not know, but whatever I know, I will write that part, okay? You will realize that most of the questions are impact questions, policy questions. There are very few questions which have focus upon the technical part. Even in science and tech, most of the questions are that those two themes, impact and policy. This part we all are familiar with. This is very cliche, and even though this is very cliche, people still struggle in it. That introduction, define the key concept or the context, as I said. That question का एक context है, current affairs context है. I mentioned that current affairs. एक किसी concept पे question है, I define that concept in the introduction itself. Science tech में बहुत fixed introduction है हमारा. In most of the times, do this. If you know the context, then either do this or add this. That you define the context and then you also add the, you define the concept and then you also add the current affairs context. If you know both of that, then that's amazing. As I said earlier, that if there is a scientific principle involved, if there is some basic information, basic definition, then you should clearly state that, okay? You should provide examples and recent developments, applications, specific application, so write down examples of applications. And finally, if there is some government initiative, you can mention that in the main body, or you can also write that in the conclusion. So, you'll rarely find an opinion-based question. In healthcare, in biotechnology, you can, right? But even in space, you can find opinion-based question. But if there is an opinion-based question, then a well-elaborated conclusion is very important. If it is not an opinion-based question, then a very simple, futuristic, outlook-based conclusion, and that's more than enough to conclude the answer, right? If it is not an opinion-based question. Even then, बहुत बार ऐसा होगा, 10 नंबर का क्वेश्चन है, 2 पार्ट ऑलरेडी हैं, 3 पार्ट हैं. पिछले साल यूपीएससी ने 10 नंबर का एक क्वेश्चन था, 4 पार्ट पूछे थे साइंस टेक में. Let me, I think I should have the question. हाँ, ये देखो, ये 2024 का क्वेश्चन है. What is the technology being employed for electronic toll collection on highways? What are its advantages and limitations? What are the proposed changes that will make this process seamless? Would this transition carry any potential hazard? ये 4 पार्ट हैं. इसमें कोई आपको परेशान भी नहीं होना कि क्या इंट्रोडक्शन है क्या. Start with that we are using RFID. 2 लाइन में डिफाइन करो. Talk about advantage limitation keywords में. Again elaborate भी नहीं करना. Immediately talk about how GPS is going to help in making this better, and write about the potential hazard of that. So time manage karna based on the requirement of the question. This is also very, very important. So I will not go into explaining कि पूरा RFID का जो mechanism होगा वो क्या होगा. Step by step हमको कुछ भी करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Already 4 पार्ट हैं, सिर्फ 150 words है. So ये क्वेश्चन जो पेपर 4 का था. Now this is where conclusion is important. The application of AI as a dependable source of input for administrative decision making is a debatable issue. The question I was talking earlier. Critically examine the statement from ethical point of view. Now this was asked in paper 4. This is a critical examination. I need to provide a elaborate conclusion here. यहाँ पे एक बढ़िया well developed conclusion होना चाहिए based on all sides of the issue which you highlighted in the main body of your answer. So it depends upon. अब यहाँ पे कोई ऐसे बहुत ज़्यादा conclusion की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Already आपने लिखा introduce the concept of AI. How does AI help in clinical diagnosis? Second part. And do you perceive any threat to privacy of individual in case of AI in healthcare? Third part. So already 3 parts हैं, 10 marker question है, 150 words आपको लिखना है. ज़्यादा scope नहीं है आपके पास यहाँ पे कुछ ज़्यादा conclusion लिखने का. 1 line का आप conclusion लिखोगे, आप आगे बढ़ोगे. Okay? So if there is a opinion based question, then definitely write the conclusion. If it is not, and you feel that you already have written 150 words or 250 words, then you can skip conclusion also, or simply write down 1 line conclusion. That's more than enough. Do not worry a lot about. The reason I'm saying is a lot of students worry about a lot कि क्या लिखे conclusion में, introduction. पहले तो आप ये भी decide करो कि question का पूरा requirement fulfill हो गया, तो conclusion के लिए जगह है भी क्या, word limit है भी क्या, नहीं है तो आगे बढ़ो, फिर क्यों करना है. बट ये चीज़ पहले क्लियर होना चाहिए. Even before you start writing, it should be very clear that do I need to proper write a elaborate conclusion, or a very generalistic line will be more than enough. Language of the answer. Language should be very simple, it should be very clear, it should be very precise. इसका सबसे बेस्ट तरीका तब होता है जब आप छोटे sentences लिखते हो. So if you have a habit, and I know many students who have this habit, कि वो एक सेंटेंस शुरू करेंगे, उसी में वेदर, विच, हाउ, कॉमा सब कुछ डाल के पूरा पैराग्राफ जो है एक सेंटेंस है. इफ यू हैव दिस हैबिट, देन स्टार्ट वर्किंग अपॉन दिस हैबिट. दैट दिस इज नॉट अ गुड वे. आप खुद का अपना चेन ऑफ थॉट भूल जाओगे. रिमेंबर, यू आर नॉट शशि थरूर, राइट? सो यू विल फॉरगेट योर ओन चेन ऑफ थॉट. सो बी वेरी क्लियर and try to write sentences with maximum, let's say 10 words and 12 words, not more than that, right? So if you have this habit of writing 30 words in one sentence, then don't do that. So try to short it to 10 sentences, 12 max, 10, 12, that's it. तो ये जब आप देखोगे, आप ऑटोमेटिकली हो जाएगा कि आपका बहुत सिंपल, क्लियर है, लैंग्वेज आपका एकदम प्रिसाइज है, कोई अननेसेसरी जार्गन नहीं है. इफ़ यू डू हैव अ बैकग्राउंड, अननेसेसरी जार्गन तो कहीं पे भी नहीं देना हमको. और ये साइंस टेक नहीं, हर जगह इंपॉर्टेंट है. जैसे इथिक्स में मैं देखता हूँ बहुत बार लोगों को जिनका फिलोसफी बैकग्राउंड है या जिन्होंने पॉलिटिकल साइंटिस्ट पढ़ रखा है, दे विल स्टार्ट थ्रोइंग ऑल द नेम्स दैट लुक Kierkegaard and Descartes and all of these people and John Locke. If it is not being specifically asked, then don't do that. Question is very simple. Always remember that you are writing a GS answer. So if it is not specifically asked about a particular thinker, ignore that. So this is not just true for science tech, but it is true for each and every part of your GS syllabus. That avoid technical jargon unless it is necessary. And if it is necessary, then elaborate. If you're writing a technical jargon, then elaborate. Don't assume that जो सामने वाला चेक कर रहा है उसको पता है, उसको पता ही होगा. Don't assume that. Okay. Try to use bullet points, but I will not stick to it. I mentioned it here that I will try to use bullet points in my answer. But somehow I also have found after talking to students that कुछ लोगों ने उनको ये सजेशन दिया है कि बुलेट पॉइंट में ही लिखना है. ऐसा बिल्कुल भी ज़रूरी नहीं है. मैक्सिमम आंसर आप बुलेट पॉइंट में लिखो. अगर आप कहीं लगता है आपको कि पैराग्राफ सूट्स यू, तो अगर आप पैराग्राफ फॉर्म में लिख रहे हो, ये एक पैराग्राफ में एक आप आइडिया लिखा आपने, फिर दूसरे पैराग्राफ में दैट्स गुड. इन फैक्ट आई वुड लव that you are writing at least 4 or 5 answers out of 20 in paragraph form, and not all 20 of them are very methodical, that this is introduction, these are the bullet points, this is conclusion. If you can do that in all 20, that's also fine. But अगर 4-5 आंसर ऐसे हैं जहाँ पे आपको लग रहा है कि आप पैराग्राफ फॉर्म में लिख सकते हो बेटर, then do that also. तो ये भी इसको एज अ बिल्कुल थंब रूल की तरह फॉर ईच एंड एवरी क्वेश्चन ही लेना है. 60, 70, 75% of the questions, yes, use bullet points, but in some answer even paragraph is also good. But nowhere, no matter, even if you're writing in paragraph, always and always try to underline or bold the important keywords, important data points. That's also always a good habit. ये हमेशा करने की कोशिश करनी चाहिए. जैसे बुलेट पॉइंट में भी लिखने का 2 तरीका है कि हमने जब बुलेट पॉइंट लिखा तो पूरे सेंटेंस का मेरा एक पर्टिकुलर थीम है, पहले मैंने वो वर्ड्स लिखे, राइट, एंड देन उसको फिर फर्दर मैंने इलैबोरेट किया. Even if I'm not doing that, even if I'm just starting with a sentence, then I will highlight the main keywords of that particular sentence. So that's always a very good habit that helps examiner immediately focusing upon that, okay, this keyword has been dealt with in the particular answer, right? So कुछ important expectation होते हैं हर question में कि question का अपना requirement है. उस रिक्वायरमेंट को फुलफिल करने के लिए मिनिमम कुछ चीज़ें रिक्वायर्ड होती हैं. अगर आपने वो मेंशन कर रखा है अपने आंसर में, एग्जामिनर को क्लियरली दिख गया, तो यू कैन बी एश्योर्ड ऑफ दैट मिनिमम मार्क्स कि मिल जाएगा आपको. उसके बाद एग्जाम्पल, सब्सटैंशिएशन, स्ट्रक्चरिंग, ऑल ऑफ दैट विल डिसाइड दैट हाउ मच मोर मार्क्स यू कैन गेट फ्रॉम above that average. Then comes time management. Okay, so time management, if you are appearing for this year examination, then I want you to take all of these things very seriously right away. If you're not appearing this year examination, even then, I do want you to think about that in the longer run, you have to improve your number of questions you can answer in a limited time frame. जैसे दोज हु आर नॉट अटेम्प्टिंग दिस ईयर, आप अगले साल पेपर देने वाले हो, तो उस पर हमको ये फोकस करना है कि आप पहले सिर्फ और सिर्फ क्वालिटी पे फोकस करोगे. दैट आई शुड राइट अ गुड आंसर, डजेंट मैटर हाउ मच टाइम इट इज. आपको 1 घंटे लग रहे हैं, कोई बात नहीं, 1 घंटे नहीं लगने चाहिए, बट दैट वाज लाइक जस्ट अ एक्सप्रेशन. That even if there is a 10 marker question, you are taking 15-20 minutes for it, it's fine. But you are writing a good answer, okay? But in the course of time, that as you come closer to the examination, prelims हो गया है, prelims का result आने वाला है, हो गया आपका prelims, अब time होगा जहाँ पे आप बहुत ही seriously इस question को के बारे में सोचोगे, that how to write all 20 questions in 3 hours, maybe at least 18 or 19 questions in 3 hours, hopefully all 20. तो सिंपल सा थंब रूल अगर हम देखें आइडियल कंडीशन में, दैट 10 मार्क क्वेश्चन जो है, अगर आप देखो 250 मार्क्स हैं, 180 मिनट्स हैं. सो हर एक मार्क्स के लिए यू गेट अबाउट व्हाट 0.7 मिनट, समथिंग लाइक दैट. सो उससे अगर आप मल्टीप्लाई करो, देन यू आइडियली शुड एलोकेट 7 मिनट to a 10 marker question, which will 10 questions will be of 10 marks, and you get about 11 minutes for a 15 marker question. ये हमारा ideal allocation time है. I will, इसमें एक तरीका ये होगा that हम शुरू के 3-4 10 नंबर वाले हम करेंगे. जैसे मुझे अगर करना हो ये चीज़, मुझे अगर टाइम मैनेज करना हो, तो मैं अपने 15 मार्कर क्वेश्चन से कभी भी कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ नहीं करूँगा. बट एट द सेम टाइम मेरे जो शुरू के आंसर्स हैं वो बहुत अच्छे होने चाहिए. वो भले क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 हो या 2 हो, बट शुरू के आंसर्स हैं वो ठीक होने चाहिए. सो आई विल राइट फ्यू आंसर्स इन द स्टार्टिंग, लाइक 3, 4, 5 आंसर्स, and then I will go to all the 15 marker question. I will write those answers, and then I will come back to the remaining questions of 10 marks, right? Within that 10 marker question, while I looked at the question paper, I will immediately think about that कुछ answers हैं जहाँ पे I can write really good answer, कुछ answers हैं जहाँ पे I do not know everything. I can write few things, but I do not know everything. So for that, those questions, I will keep them in the end. I do not know a lot, I can write few things. But those जो हमारा strength है हम उस पर हमेशा खेलेंगे. प्रिपरेशन के टाइम पे आपको ये ध्यान देना है कि जो वीक एरिया है उस पर आप ज़्यादा टाइम स्पेंड कर रहे हो. ये सिर्फ प्रिपरेशन के टाइम करना है कि मेरा एंशिएंट हिस्ट्री ठीक नहीं है, आई विल स्पेंड मोर टाइम ऑन रिवाइजिंग एंशिएंट हिस्ट्री. मेरा ज्योग्राफी ठीक नहीं है, मैपिंग ठीक नहीं है, आई विल स्पेंड लॉट ऑफ टाइम ऑन डूइंग मैपिंग. बट ड्यूरिंग एग्जामिनेशन यू क्लियरली focus upon your strength areas. That this is a question, I can write a good answer, I have good data, I have good current affairs knowledge, I have good structure, I will spend more time on that particular answer. ये हमेशा हमको करना है in examination hall while writing answer. So ideal allocation is 7 minutes and 11 minutes. 7 minutes for 10 marker question, 11 minutes for 15 marker question. Avoid spending too long on tough topics. साइंस टेक में तो बहुत ही ज़रूरी है. जैसे अभी जो मैंने थोड़ी देर पहले क्वेश्चन का एग्जाम्पल दिया, Bose-Einstein statistics. I do not know. Forget about avoid, I will not even answer that. Why would I answer that if I do not know? I will take that time, I will utilize that time in answering some other question. तो ये चीज़ भी realize करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. Okay. ये ideal scenario है where I maintain the same quality in each and every question. I have the capability of maintaining the same quality in each and every question. Then this is the ideal scenario. But I don't think any candidate will have this capability that you can maintain the same quality in each and every answer. There are few answers, there are few themes which you know really well. There are few themes you know few things, and also there are few themes which you do not know a lot. Like that is a weak topic for you. So I will spend more time on those themes. जैसे मान लो I have done this imaginary scenario. Remember this do not think of this as a thumb rule. This is a imaginary scenario. In this imaginary scenario, let's say there is a candidate who knows 6 questions out of 20. 6 questions are strong areas that you know these 6 themes really well and you can write good answer. Then about 10 of them you have some average knowledge, and maybe about 4 of them you have weak knowledge. You do not know a lot. So my time allocation accordingly will be that I will spend more time on my strong suit, less time on average, and even less time in week should. So maybe a better time allocation can be this, assuming this statistics which I just told you, that 6 answers I know really good. I know that with 6 I can do really well, I can get 70% of the marks. If it is a 10 marker question, I can get 7 mark. 15 marker question, I can get 9 marks. So I will play on my strength areas. But I will try to answer all 20 questions. ये हमेशा आपका गोल होना चाहिए. अगर आपको कोई भी ये बोलता है कि नहीं 14-15 भी करके आ जाओ, नहीं, डोंट डू दैट. मिनिमम तो 18 करके आओगे ही आओगे आप, मिनिमम 18 करके आओगे, बट आप कोशिश करोगे कि सारे के सारे 20 आंसर्स हो आपके. तो भले वीक एरियाज में आपको 10 नंबर का क्वेश्चन आपको 4 मिनट लास्ट में मिला है, लास्ट का 4 मिनट है, आपको एक लास्ट का एक आंसर लिखना है. यू डू नॉट नो अ लॉट, यू नो फ्यू थिंग्स, आप उसमें करो. सिमिलरली फॉर 15 मार्कर क्वेश्चन इट्स अ वीक थीम, बट यू स्टिल शुड एलोकेट like 7-8 minutes and you're writing few things there. So this is perhaps a like better time allocation. And remember, this is not to be taken as literal on face value. This is going to be different for different candidates, and because the data will vary for different candidates. Okay. So time management in answer writing, that is going to be very, very important. And finally, before I show you the some answers which I have, finally, all of these things can only and only occur. तो पहले जैसे अभी मान लो इस साल अगर हम मेंस लिख रहे हैं, तो अभी आप, I hope that you already have you already are working towards compiling your knowledge for mains examination. Like that should be the first thing which you do. But even when you are doing that, you should already be writing few answers. And on a daily basis, you are writing 4-5 answers at least. And once you have compiled all of that information across paper 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you have also like some anecdotes and stories for essay, once you have done all of that, then I would expect all of you to write at least 2 or 3 full-length paper each and every week. That you are writing 1 complete GS paper, you are writing 1 complete optional paper, and you are writing 1 complete essay paper. So these are the 3 things, 3 papers you do each and every week in last, let's say 6 or 7 weeks just before mains examination. And your goal here is how to have this very good balance between the quantity and quality. That you try to maintain good quality in as many answers as possible, but you're also trying to ensure that you're trying to answer all of those questions, all of the 20 questions of the paper. This, while I say this to you, it's not, so remember that I know everything about swimming, but I cannot go and swim. I know all of the dynamics of swimming, हाथ कैसे move करना है, पैर कैसे move करना है. But always and always remember that there should be bias towards action, which means that start doing things. Do not wait for the right opportunity कि पहले ये हो जाएगा फिर करेंगे. ये कुछ भी नहीं होगा. There is no शुभ मुहूर्त here. शुभ मुहूर्त is right now. So you start writing today. If you can take feedback from your mentors, from your faculties, it's good. But even if you can take feedback from your peers, that's going to be, that is also quite good. So let's say again, if you are appearing this year examination, then find at least 1 or 2 like-minded people, maximum 3. Make a group of 3 or 4. Even 2 will be fine, but let's say not more than 4, not more than 5, I would say. It should not be more than 4 or 5. And then among your peer, you can give each other feedback, that what are some of the points which you could have mentioned. So if you're writing this year or next year, this is a suggestion that peer feedback, it goes a long way. Right? Even if you cannot take regular feedback from your mentors or faculties, if you can, it's very good, right? What should you write? You can immediately pick previous year questions. That's a ready-made resource which you all have, and you can pick mock tests. Like any institute, doesn't matter, but you should pick mock test and you should write answers on a regular basis. That daily revision cycle is important. That daily answer writing is important. That should not be compromised upon at all. That कितना भी inertia हो, लग रहा है कि नहीं आज नहीं, कितना भी inertia लग रहा हो, but लिखना है, कुछ ना कुछ लिखना है. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा खराब लिखोगे और क्या होगा, but अब लिखोगे. I often say this to student that writing जो है वो process है, writing end नहीं है. जैसे हमको लगता क्या है UPSC examination में कि हम सब कुछ पढ़ लेंगे, once we have completed this, I know everything and then I start writing. No, writing is the process. While you write, you learn. So when you write, you force yourself to organize your thoughts. You ask some questions which you did not ask earlier. And then you'll try to write those things in as crisp and as concise as possible. So writing is the process. Writing is not the end. So the sooner you become, you integrate that process in your preparation, the better it is going to be for you. Okay. And last, at no point of time, any panic that science is tough, not at all. For UPSC at least it is very, very easy, and mains is easier than prelims, because in prelims you have this huge scope, they can ask anything. In mains you have certain keywords and they will focus upon those keywords, right? Basic things, you all know that having a good balance between all papers, all topics and subtopics, essay also. This is not the time to go into rabbit holes. This is not the time that आपको इकोनॉमिक्स में कुछ इंटरेस्टिंग लगा और आप बैठ के इकोनॉमिक्स के टेक्स्ट बुक लेके पढ़ने बैठ गए और आपका ऑप्शनल जो सोशियोलॉजी है. सो ये नहीं करना. दिस इज नॉट द टाइम टू डू दैट. ये सारी टाइम ये हम बहुत पहले करेंगे, एग्जाम के बाद करेंगे. दिस इज द टाइम वेयर योर गोल इज वेरी क्लियर दैट आई नो व्हाट आई हैव टू डू इन नेक्स्ट month, and I am going to prepare really, really well for that. Okay. So balancing is very important in this time period just before mains examination. Stay updated, that's important. Don't overload with unnecessary detail. अब ये जो है ये technique आना चाहिए. And when you read monthly current affairs magazine, I also think that Vision IAS का जो magazine है, that also can like make you that overburdened with so many facts and so many things, and you'll realize and you'll ask this question that इतना सारा याद रखना भी है क्या? And the answer is no, no and no. Almost every time the answer is no. But ये filter करना information that मेंस आंसर राइटिंग के लिए क्या यूजफुल इन्फॉर्मेशन है, कैसे इसको फिल्टर करें, ये भी आप अचानक से नहीं आएगा. ये जब लिखोगे, आंसर लिखोगे, आपको रियलाइज होगा, खुद से खुद रियलाइज होगा कि किस टाइप के फैक्ट्स जो हैं याद रखना आसान है, उसको यूज़ करना इजी है, वर्सेस रैंडम फैक्ट्स जिनका कोई बहुत ज़्यादा यूटिलिटी है नहीं. एंड दिस इज़ लास्ट बट नॉट द लीस्ट, रिमेंबर इट्स नॉट अ college BTech examination where you do the last minute revision. You have to be very, very consistent. So 6 to 7 hours, if you're writing mains this year, then maybe 7 to 8 hours, but without a single exception, without a single day where you feel like taking a break. No, you cannot afford that. So if you're writing mains this year, then every day 7 to 8 hour, 15-16 घंटे वो बकवास चीज़ें हैं, but every day 7 to 8 hour. And 7 to 8 hour का मीनिंग है कि you should feel that you have actually worked well for 7 to 8 hour. वो किसी को दिखाने के लिए नहीं है. हमेशा एक important चीज़ realize करना है कि the moment you have a internal validation mechanism, the moment you have this internal feedback mechanism, remember you have grown as a person, that you do not want to prove something to somebody else. You do not have to show off something to somebody else. Whatever you want to prove, you have to prove it for yourself. So have this internal validation mechanism that you feel happy because you have done something good. You do not feel happy because somebody else has commended on you, right? That may also make you happy, but that is not the primary goal. The primary goal is that internal validation mechanism, that internal feedback mechanism, right? So consistency maintain करना, वो जो 7-8 घंटे मैंने बोला, वो 7-8 घंटे आपको खुद से रियलाइज करना कि मैंने सच में 7-8 घंटे पढ़ा है on a daily basis. That is what you have to do for the revision part. Okay. So before I take questions from you, let me show you some of the answers which I found to be very precise and very to the point, without making a lot of jargon, without writing a lot of jargon, and without exceeding word limit and everything. This is a question. Look at the question. Very comprehensive question, 15 marks question. This is Archit's paper. And scientists announced net energy gain in fusion, which is considered a major scientific breakthrough for future of clean energy. That is the statement. What are the advantages of nuclear fusion based power generation? What are the limitations in using it to generate electricity at commercial scale? Okay, 2 पार्ट है मेन क्वेश्चन का. अब यहाँ पे हम बहुत तरीके से हम इसको इंट्रोड्यूस कर सकते थे. राइट. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल एक इंट्रोडक्शन तो ये होता है कि मैं न्यूक्लियर फ्यूजन को डिफाइन कर देता, जो मैं बोल रहा था पहले, दैट आई कुड हैव डिफाइंड व्हाट इज न्यूक्लियर फ्यूजन इन वेरी सिंपल वर्ड. सेकेंड तरीका ये होता है कि ये जो ब्रेक थ्रू है ये मुझे पता है, जस्ट इन केस कि मान लो मुझे ब्रेक थ्रू पता है दैट दिस हैपेंड एट लॉरेंस लैब इन कैलिफोर्निया 2 years ago, right? I know there is a facility called National Ignition Facility where it happened. If I know the current affairs, I would have added that also, right? So Archit chose to simply define another keyword, not fusion, not the current affairs, but what do I mean by the net energy gain? That is also a good introduction. Like how smart this introduction is. That maybe I do not know that where this breakthrough happened, right? Maybe you could have used fusion as a definition, but we simply define net energy gain. That what do I mean by net energy gain in the context of fusion? And then ये भी देखो कि कितने words हैं introduction में. Hardly you have like what, some 15, 18, 20 words, not more than that. Because the other parts, they require more comprehensive dealing. There are more bullet points, but very clearly we have mentioned advantages, limitations. Very clearly we have highlighted the keywords that it produces around 10 times more energy than fission. So we did a comparison between nuclear fission and fusion and fission. Elements needed such as tritium are easily available. It's not entirely accurate, but still tritium can be easily bet from lithium. Deuterium is very easily available. Byproducts of the reaction, they are not at all dangerous, unlike fission where byproducts can be dangerous. There are more bullet points. I have only chosen some of them. I wanted to show you the structure part. And then you go to the limitations, that you need high temperature, more than 10 million degrees Celsius for fusion to happen. And जो tokamak hai, that requires high powered magnets. Look at this keyword here, that there is a device called tokamak where fusion is possible. So I've highlighted that particular keyword, and I need high powered magnets to attain such high temperature and pressure, and I need to contain that. More bullet points have been given also in limitation. So कहीं पे कोई jargon बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं है, बहुत ही specific focus है, question का demand है. My answer is directly focusing upon that demand without doing any adjacencies, right? और word limit पे बहुत ज़्यादा focus है. वे फॉरवर्ड भी दे दिया है, वे फॉरवर्ड दे रखा है, बिकॉज क्वेश्चन में पूछा है, सॉरी क्वेश्चन में पूछा भी नहीं है, व्हाट आर द लिमिटेशंस इन यूजिंग इट टू जनरेट इलेक्ट्रिसिटी एट अ कमर्शियल स्केल. बिकॉज इट इज अ 15 marker क्वेश्चन, we can write about way forward. So way forward has been also properly elaborated here. So very clear structure, specific bullet points, highlighting the keywords, focusing upon limiting your word, limiting your answer to 250 word. इसको काउंट नहीं करना है. जैसे अभी आप क्या करोगे, नेक्स्ट आपका टास्क क्या होगा व्हेन यू स्टार्ट राइटिंग आंसर, दैट आप एक पेज में कितने वर्ड्स लिखते हो उसका मोर और लेस एवरेज बहुत ज़्यादा चेंज नहीं होगा. जैसे आइडियली आई थिंक दैट मोस्ट ऑफ द कैंडिडेट्स दे राइट अबाउट 150 वर्ड्स इनटू दैट फर्स्ट पेज एंड सेकेंड पेज, and for 250 words they often will take 2.5 pages, and for 150 words they will take about 1.7 pages, something like that. Again, it can vary. So you do this calculation yourself, and the moment you are exceeding that, the moment you are approaching that, it should clearly hit you that you are going to exceed the word limit. Don't do that. You can be penalized, by the way, for that. You can be penalized for this thing. And always remember that you will be compromising upon other answers if you spend a lot of time on just one question. So sticking to the word limit, that is also an art, and it is not going to happen without regular practice. Now, this is a technical question. This is the reason I have, so this is answer copy of Komal, and the reason I have included this answer, that यहाँ पे कोई bullet points नहीं है, ये बिल्कुल paragraph form में लिखा हुआ है, and it's very specific to question is discovery of Higgs boson at Large Hadron Collider, completed 10 years recently. Peter Higgs died, by the way, last year, so that also is a reason why this question was asked in test series. In this context, discuss the role played by CERN in overall scientific development. So very specifically mentioning the keyword that the CERN ka facility hai, that is called Large Hadron Collider, and what it tries to do, and that Higgs boson is called God particle, highlighting those things. So all of the keywords have been clearly mentioned. So this is a technical question, but even then, without going into a lot of jargon, just focusing upon the terms which are properly covered in newspaper, in paragraph form, not even going into that bullet point form, in paragraph form, and the answer has been completed. Let me show you one more answer of Komal. Despite a global framework to prevent weaponization of space, it has been increasing in recent times. Discuss, also give an account of the implications of space weaponization. So clear definition, very simple definition, outer space has emerged as fourth space for the warfare. Right, apart from Air Force and Navy and typical traditional army, you have this fourth front where war is being fought. A clear definition that what do I mean by weaponization of space, that what it includes, global framework, that what are the current global framework. Another question, what do you understand by bioeconomy? Highlight the role that National Biotechnology Development Strategy can play in creating a robust bioeconomy in India. Defining what is bioeconomy refers to the use and value generated by biological products for trade and global use. And clearly mentioning in a nice structure that bioeconomy includes all of these domains. It includes living modified organisms, it includes forest produce, it includes animal products, equitable access to GM products and all of that. So very specifically in nice structure mentioning that what do I mean by the term bioeconomy itself, and then talking about the National Biotechnology Development Strategy while highlighting the keywords. Rank 1 this year, she did not have science background, but even then look at how beautifully the answer has been structured and the key point has been highlighted in the answer. So ये जो पूरा ये है कि science background नहीं है, that is a challenge. No. Why is biopiracy a cause of great concern to the existing traditional knowledge of developing world? This is a question of IPR, intellectual property rights. What steps have been taken by Government of India for protecting the existing traditional Indian knowledge? A clear definition of biopiracy defined as commercial exploiting naturally occurring biological resources belonging to particular community without providing the adequate benefits to that particular community. So clear definition. Examples, that think of the example of turmeric which happened in case of India, and then why it is a cause of concern. It deprives the original community of its benefit, economic loss to the community, and what steps have been taken, mentioning that also in a well structured format. Okay, so you will find that you do not have to make your answer कुछ टेक्निकल लिख के साइंस टेक में अगर आपको ऐसे लग रहा है जस्ट इन केस तब भी पॉइंट्स मिलेंगे, बिल्कुल ही गलत है. राइट, आप बहुत ही स्पेसिफिक जो पूछा गया है उस पर फोकस करो, कोई जार्गन की ज़रूरत नहीं है, अपने आंसर को बढ़िया से स्ट्रक्चर करो एंड यू विल रियलाइज दैट यू विल गेट गुड मार्क्स इन दिस पर्टिकुलर थीम. राइट, सो आई हैव फ्यू क्वेश्चंस हियर व्हिच वी कैन प्रैक्टिस राइट नाउ इफ यू वांट. Not all of them, that will take a lot of time, but at least one question you can practice. You can show your answer after the class. I have 4 questions, you can choose any one. But before that, if you have any questions, any queries in what we discussed, you can ask questions. कंक्लूजन में जाके इम्पैक्ट लिखने का कोई मतलब नहीं है, वो एक नया पॉइंट हो जाएगा. जैसे हम कंक्लूजन में हम समरी लिखते हैं, वे फॉरवर्ड लिखते हैं, एक फ्यूचरिस्टिक कुछ एक वो देते हैं, हम नया पॉइंट कंक्लूजन में कभी ऐड नहीं करते. हाँ, वो अगर है तो लिख सकते हैं. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल थिंक ऑफ एन एग्जाम्पल, जैसे मान लो हेल्थ में बायोटेक में जैसे मान लेते हैं जीएम क्रॉप को लेके ले लेते हैं, बड़ा डिबेटेबल इशू है दैट जीएम क्रॉप को लेके पूरा डिबेट है, बट हम एक एंड में लिख सकते हैं दैट हाउ इट कैन हेल्प इन सॉल्विंग सम ऑफ द एग्रेरियन क्राइसिस, समथिंग लाइक दैट, विदाउट हाईलाइटिंग और विदाउट गोइंग इनटू न्यू पॉइंट इन द कंक्लूजन. A generalistic way forward can be written. Yeah, that is totally fine. But in conclusion, I do not introduce a new point. That is there. Any other questions? Sorry, ready-made? Ready-made template. What do you mean by ready-made template? टॉपिक पे डिपेंड करता है कि क्या क्वेश्चंस हैं. जैसे आप कोई एक स्पेसिफिक थीम सोचो, क्वेश्चन सोचो, आई कैन आंसर फॉर दैट. एक रेडीमेड टेम्पलेट पूरे के पूरे टॉपिक का हो ही नहीं सकता. रेडीमेड टेम्पलेट्स जो हैं उसका बहुत ज़्यादा यूटिलिटी नहीं है. जैसे रेडीमेड टेम्पलेट एक बहुत जनरलिस्टिक में बता सकता हूँ आपको कि हम इंट्रोडक्शन में क्या, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया दैट इंट्रोडक्शन क्या हो सकता है हमारा. इंट्रोडक्शन कैन बी दैट साइंस टेक का जो भी एक थीम है, जो टेक्नोलॉजी का थीम है, उसको हमने डिफाइन किया. एक टेम्पलेट हो सकता है. एक टेम्पलेट ये हो सकता है कि जो क्वेश्चन है उसका करंट अफेयर्स बेसिस है. सो आई राइट दैट करंट अफेयर्स बेसिस इफ आई नो. इफ आई डू नॉट नो, ऑफ कोर्स आई कैन नॉट राइट दैट. If I know, I write that current affairs part in the introduction. Some other important term which is mentioned in the question, I can write that. तो एक इंट्रोडक्शन का रेडीमेड टेम्पलेट मैं फिर भी बता सकता हूँ आपको. कंक्लूजन का रेडीमेड टेम्पलेट डिपेंड करता है, एज आई सेड अर्लियर, कि क्वेश्चन किस टाइप का है. साइंस टेक में बहुत कम बार होगा जहाँ पे ओपिनियन बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस होंगे. साइंस टेक में मैक्सिमम क्वेश्चन अवेयरनेस बेस्ड होंगे, दैट यू आर सपोज टू नो अबाउट दिस, कि ये क्या है, इसके क्या क्या एरियाज एप्लीकेशंस है, समथिंग लाइक दैट. तो वहाँ पे जो कंक्लूजन है बहुत ही जनरल सा कंक्लूजन होगा, 1-2 लाइन में. एक या तो जनरल से अपने पॉइंट्स लिखे, या गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया कुछ कर रही है, आपने वो लिखा. ठीक है. अब ये पार्ट जो मेन बॉडी में हमको क्या लिखना है, वो तो बहुत ही स्पेसिफिक जो होगा क्वेश्चन के बेसिस पे होगा, दैट क्वेश्चन का क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है. तो उसका कोई एक रेडीमेड टेम्पलेट नहीं हो सकता कि क्वेश्चन का रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है. So ask a specific question, जहाँ से जैसे मान लो, if you can think of a difficult theme from science and tech, where you feel that you are not able to comprehend that what are the points I am supposed to write here. Ask that, and that will be a better response rather than me telling you some very general points. उसका कोई utility नहीं है फिर, right? So ask a specific theme from a topic which you find, let's say, difficult, and then I can answer that question with examples that what could have been written to make your answer better. Think, आप सोच सकते हो. Meanwhile, any other question? अच्छा, ठीक है. तो IPR भी खुद में, पहले तो हम IPR को लेके जैसे हम प्रिपेयर कैसे करेंगे, फॉरगेट अबाउट कि आंसर का टेम्पलेट क्या होगा. रिमेंबर, टेम्पलेट आप तभी बना सकते हो जब आप चीज़ों के बारे में आपको पता है. तो पहला मेरा तो forget about the word template. I do not like the word template, by the way. The reason is that it's like taking a shortcut, that you are not focusing upon learning, right? You are not focusing upon learning new things. You are focusing upon again that कि कैसे हम marks बढ़ा लें. ठीक है, marks बढ़ जाएगा automatically जब आप learning पे focus करोगे. हाँ, तो अभी हम आते हैं, जैसे इन्होंने क्वेश्चन पूछा IPR वाला है, तो IPR के एग्जाम्पल से हम दे सकते हैं. तो IPR, तो सबसे पहले कि IPR होता क्या है, पहले तो हम प्रिपेयर करेंगे टॉपिक को कि IPR का मीनिंग क्या है, IPR होता क्या है, IPR के टाइप्स क्या हैं, पेटेंट क्या होता है, ट्रेडमार्क क्या है, कॉपीराइट क्या है, GI क्या है, ऑल ऑफ दोस थिंग्स, ट्रेड सीक्रेट्स क्या हैं. तो पहले तो मेरा जो बेसिक टर्मिनोलॉजी है वो क्लियर होना चाहिए. ठीक है. फिर क्वेश्चन आपका जो सिलेबस है UPSC का वो है दैट इश्यूज रिलेटेड टू IPR. तो फिर आप उसके नेक्स्ट लेवल पे जाओगे. ओके, व्हाट आर द इश्यूज रिलेटेड टू IPR. ओके, one of the issue in India is regarding IPR is that many countries, developed countries, are not very happy with India's IPR regime. कि इंडिया में जो intellectual property protection है वो बहुत as per what they want is not there. Okay, what is the reason behind it? How should India handle this particular criticism? I will prepare that theme. Okay. Another very important theme on IPR related issues is that question which I was just discussing. That now this is India's complaint to developed world. A lot of time you utilize genetic resources, biological resources without providing the adequate benefit to local people, which we call biopiracy. And that leads to loss of our traditional knowledge. So I will prepare that as a topic. Okay? Then third as a theme which is not about complaint of India towards world or world towards India, but it is simply a problem in India, that why we are not doing enough in research and development. That even though, let's say for example, we have lot of patents, जैसे पिछली साल UPSC ने एक बड़ा अच्छा क्वेश्चन पूछा था, that we are filing such a large number of patents, but very few have been commercialized. तो ये एक अलग theme है, that why do we, पहला तो ये कि why we do not have enough number of patents, and even if you do have, then those patents are very less utility at the industrial level. What is the reason behind it? So when you start asking questions from a specific topic, and then you become equipped to handle any type of theme. So it is not specific to a particular theme, a particular type of question, but that is why I said that making mind maps by yourself, thinking about a topic from yourself, that always helps you a lot. And of course it goes without saying that take support from your teachers, take support from your mentors, take help from ChatGPT, whatever you want to use that. But try to think about a topic first by yourself, rather than somebody providing you a ready-made, ye ki ye hai, ye kar lo, ye kar lo. That's not the good way to approach any topic. So I rely a lot upon that I genuinely want to learn about a theme. I genuinely want to understand what this topic is, and then you become better at that topic. And then you become better for both prelims and mains examination, that you can now write answer, a good answer in a specific time frame. Okay? This year examination. Physics will take a lot of time. Right? I have a physics background, so I know this. Physics will take a lot of time. तो उसका तो, लेकिन अच्छी बात ये भी है कि उसमें फिजिक्स में ये नहीं है, मतलब कोई इंटरप्रिटेशन बेस्ड वाली चीज़ें नहीं है. मतलब एक क्वेश्चन है, उसका एक आंसर है. That's a good thing. Like you do not have to worry about the interpretation part. Spend a lot of time. Physics can be a great enabler in your preparation. That spend a lot of time in ensuring that you get 300 plus, and you can get 300 plus in physics. So optional पे अपने focus करो, but keep writing at least 4 to 5 answers on a daily basis from GS. And if you cannot write, जैसे अभी मैंने बताया था कि 3 पेपर, जैसे what I would expect कि जो लास्ट एग्जाम से जस्ट पहले जो मेरा 5-6 वीक है, उसमें आई एम राइटिंग, कितने वीक बच गए भाई तो एग्जाम में, मुझे पता भी नहीं है डेट, कितने वीक बच गए हैं? सॉरी, हाउ मेनी वीक्स आर लेफ्ट बिफोर, जस्ट बिफोर एग्जामिनेशन? एग्जामिनेशन आई थिंक इज इन व्हाट? ओके, सो लाइक यू डू नॉट हैव लॉट ऑफ टाइम लेफ्ट. सो आई वुड डेफिनेटली राइट लास्ट वीक छोड़ के. लास्ट वीक में आपको ऐसे कुछ करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. A practical suggestion I will give you is कि before entering in the examination hall, write down few answers. वो वार्म अप के लिए ज़रूरी है. जैसे खेलने से पहले वार्म अप करना ज़रूरी होता है ना, ताकि आप इंजरी ना हो. तो just before entering the hall, write 2 answers. वो आपका हाथ तेज हो जाएगा. आप जो हार्मोन्स है, जो एक्साइटमेंट है, that will help you, and आपका जो वार्म अप है वो हो जाएगा. So just before entering into the hall, write at least 2 answer. बट खैर वो तो एग्ज़ाम के दिन की बात है कि हम एग्ज़ाम में हमको क्या करना है. एग्ज़ाम से पहले हमको क्या करना है, दैट इन लास्ट वीक छोड़ के उससे पहले जो 4-5 वीक है, हम डेली कम से कम 3 फुल पेपर तो लिखेंगे. 1 फ्रॉम GS, 1 फ्रॉम ऑप्शनल, 1 फ्रॉम essay. ये तो हमको करना ही करना है. एंड इवन इफ यू आर स्पेंडिंग लॉट ऑफ टाइम इन योर ऑप्शनल, एंड डू दैट बिकॉज दैट कैन बी अ ग्रेट टूल, बट आई वुड सजेस्ट दैट आप आंसर राइटिंग कम से कम 4 से 5 तो डेली करना ही करना है. दैट इज़ नॉन कॉम्प्रोमाइजेबल. I emphasize a lot upon this, that if you have cleared prelims, because prelims कितना luck based है तो सबको पता होगा. I hope that इस पे मुझे emphasize करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, that how luck based this prelims examination is. So if you have cleared prelims, then you should give everything, like 100% of your effort. No excuses, nothing. No distraction, no excuses. That you have to clear mains and you have to clear this examination. I know such brilliant candidates that who have come so close, appeared in interview last year, and then again this year did not qualify prelims examination. I know so many brilliant candidates like that. So I will give everything. I will study for 8 to 9 hours, and I will divide my time accordingly. Right. So spend a lot of time in your optional, but don't forget that answer writing part. At least 4 to 5 answer on a daily basis. Okay. ठीक है, दैट्स अ गुड एलोकेशन, दैट्स अ गुड एलोकेशन. 4 घंटे आप ऑप्शनल दो डेली, 4 घंटे आप जीएस दो, दैट्स अ गुड एलोकेशन. Any other question? Okay, we can do a very simple exercise before I end this session. I have these 4 themes. I have selected these 4 themes for this year examination. It is totally up to you to pick any one question. And before you leave, you can show me the answer. I will give you the feedback that what can be, what could have been made better in your answer. So you can pick any of these 4 questions. And I think that these 4 themes are particularly important for this year mains examination. So I will give you some 10 minutes before I end this session. I will give you 10 minutes to write answer on any one of them and show me your answer in the end before I finish after the class. And I will give you feedback that what could have been written more to improve the answer further. Any other question, by the way, if you have, because I can end this session, I just have to give feedback to your answer. I'm going to stay here for 10 minutes, so I can give the feedback to your answer. But if you have any question in science tech or in general about your preparation, you can ask questions about answer writing, about preparation, anything. I'm going to get these slides uploaded on the video description. That also includes some, not all, but some previous year questions for more practice if you want. On? In for prelims? Okay, so if it is a factual question of science and tech, if you do not know the facts, then my suggestion will be don't attempt that question. Simple. I will have the same suggestion in actual prelims paper of UPSC. That if I know that this is a factual question, I do not know the fact, I'll simply skip it. You do not have to attempt all the 100 questions. Remember that. Yes. Okay. काफी बड़ा एक डोमेन है बायोटेक का, सही बात है. The cellulose का क्वेश्चन I would include that more of an environment question than science and tech, because जो cellulose का जो क्वेश्चन था वो एक्चुअली बहुत सिंपल था. उसमें बस ये है कि cellulose वर्ड्स कैरी था, बट क्वेश्चन वाज अबाउट कार्बन साइकिल. मतलब अगर पूरा क्वेश्चन अगर आप देखो, नॉट इवन वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट बाय ह्यूमन बींग्स, नेचर का तरीका क्या है रिसाइकल करने का, कि सेलुलोज बनता कैसे है और सेलुलोज खत्म कैसे होता है, तो नेचुरल प्रोसेस क्या है. एंड वहाँ पे बस आपने जो इन्वायरमेंट में पढ़ा होगा, द डिकम्पोजिशन पार्ट, राइट वो उन चीज़ों के बारे में आपको डिस्क्राइब करना था कि डिकम्पोजिशन कैन हैपन इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ ऑक्सीजन और इन द एब्सेंस ऑफ ऑक्सीजन, एरोबिक और एनारोबिक कंडीशन, बेस्ड ऑन दैट CO2 और CH4 will be released. So that was a very simple question in the sense that you had to know that cellulose is a type of carbohydrate, and even though it is carbohydrate, it is structural component of the plant. Most of the significant part of structure of plant is nothing but cellulose. And then once plant die, what happens to that cellulose? Simple. So that was not a very difficult question. So it was more of a question of carbon cycle rather than some question of technology. Regarding stem cell therapy, now stem cell therapy is a very important tool which, even though it is not in news, I will prepare it. So there are certain themes in biotech, I will always prepare it. Just stem cell therapy is one of them, gene editing is another, gene therapy, gene sequencing, which this question is all about. Discuss the objectives and scope of Genome India project. Genetically modified crops. तो ये कुछ themes हैं जो news में है या नहीं है फर्क नहीं पड़ता. I will always prepare these themes properly. ठीक है? Stem cell therapy is one of them. But cellulose वाला जो question है एक outlier सा question है, because the cellulose word जो है that can be scary in the sense that if you do not have a proper biology background, then that can scare you that ये कहाँ से आ गया, right? But even then, if you know, by the way, now you know that what is cellulose, that's a very easy question. Cellulose is a result of photosynthesis process, and it decomposes by, let's say, aerobic or anaerobic decomposition by bacteria and fungi. That was the question. ठीक है? या तो हम human beings जलाते भी हैं, combustion can be a process, वो भी आप लिख सकते हो. ठीक है? बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल. और एक और तरीका हो सकता है बायोटेक को करने का और हेल्थ केयर को करने का, कि बायोटेक के कलर्स जो आपने पढ़े होंगे कि वाइट बायोटेक एंड ग्रीन बायोटेक एंड रेड बायोटेक, दिस आर नथिंग बट applications of biotech into different domains. That applications of biotech in, let's say, agriculture, applications of biotech in industry, applications of biotech in fuel. तो जब ये मेरा एक थीम हो गया कि बायोटेक को फ्यूल में हम कैसे यूज करेंगे, बट उस थीम पे जब हम फर्दर स्टडी करेंगे एज अ यूपीएससी एस्पिरेंट, देन आई विल सी दैट विच एस्पेक्ट ऑफ बायोटेक, what is the science which actually leads to, let's say, development of fuel with help of biological process, or development of medicine or vaccine with help of biological process. तो ये हम थोड़ा सा हमको जाना पड़ेगा, that technical detail, that what is the exact process. जैसे I should know that with help of yeast, when certain crops are fermented, it produces ethanol. So I should know that. Similarly, when I have to write about working of vaccine, I should know that it is essentially training body's immune system. So there are certain cells, such as B cells and T cells, and they are associated with memory, that they can memorize a particular antigen, and based on that they can produce antibody. So ये अलग अलग जो application, possible applications of biotech है, उसका जो basic science है, अगर आपका वो clear है, it's not a very difficult topic. कुछ themes जैसे मैंने बताया आपको, I will again mention it: gene therapy, gene editing, gene sequencing, genetically modified crop, right? Stem cell therapy. These are some of the themes I will prepare really, really well. Okay. In 2015. तो आपका जो एग्जाम्पल है वो बहुत ही स्पेसिफिक है, और ये स्पेसिफिक एग्जाम्पल चाहे वो न्यूज़ में हो या ना हो, हम इसलिए याद रखेंगे बिकॉज वो इंडिया लेड अलायंस है. अगर कुछ ऐसा रहता है कि जहाँ पे इंडिया का कोई पार्टिसिपेशन नहीं होता, चाहे इंडिया का बहुत ही दूर दराज से पार्टिसिपेशन होता, तो हम उसको इग्नोर कर देते अगर वो न्यूज़ में नहीं होता. बट इंटरनेशनल सोलर अलायंस जो आपने एग्जाम्पल लिया है, वो मैं प्रिपेयर इसलिए करूँगी बिकॉज आई नो दैट इट इज़ एन इंडिया लेड अलायंस. तो न्यूज़ में नहीं भी है फिर भी पता होना चाहिए. तो वो तो बिल्कुल एक बेसिक प्रिपरेशन का पार्ट है. दैट सोलर एनर्जी के बारे में हम पढ़ेंगे. आई विल रीड अबाउट इंटरनेशनल सोलर अलायंस एंड व्हाट इज इंडिया डूइंग इन इंटरनेशनल सोलर अलायंस. ठीक है. होनी चाहिए, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. ठीक है. एंड अगर यूनियन गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का कुछ मेजर ग्रैंड इनिशिएटिव है, फिर तो पक्के से पता होना चाहिए. ठीक है. For this topic or in general? Science tech, you're talking about science? In general. So you should start with some very basic books. For example, you are still completing your graduation. So you can start with very basic books, like go and read the basic NCERTs. But when you read in your school, you try to, again, focus is to get maximum marks, as much marks as you can. Now the focus should be actually understanding things. And making that interconnection among different subjects. That how our economic policy is dictated by our historical legacy. Or how our current society is because of what was happening in the past. So trying to establish those interconnections between different subjects. That should be focused when you go and read NCERT right now. So my starting point will be that I will start with basic NCERTs. First, second, I will start reading newspapers, even though I do not understand everything, right? But I will still start reading newspaper. At least what is happening in the world, I will know that. Just immediately I should know that what is this entire backdrop of Iran-Israel war. जो पूरा Israel-Palestine problem है क्या है? I will immediately go and read more about it, right? So I will look at this syllabus, that what is in paper 1, what is in paper 2, 3 and 4. And accordingly, when I read a topic, I will try to think that, okay, this news is part of this part of the syllabus. So even in the starting part of your preparation, try to imagine that a particular news, a particular event is from a particular part of the syllabus. The sooner you start making such connections, you realize that within a very short span of time, you become a much more aware candidate, okay? The third thing is that if you, let's say for example, if you do not join any specific classes, if you want to do all of those things by yourself, a lot of resources are available. You can do that, you can utilize that. There are some subjects which you will require support. Just say geography, if you do not have background in geography, that will require support. If you do not have geography background in economics, that will require some support. So you can take that support from many resources available. If you plan to join classes, of course, that is going to be beneficial. But even if you do not plan to do that, you can do those things by yourself also. That is my point. It will take some maybe more time, and it will you have to be very disciplined for that. But yes, it can be done. So on technical topics where some technicality is involved, including science and tech or environment or physical geography or economics, these are the things which will require support. Without support, like, you may feel directionless, right? So I will then say that once you do your basic NCERTs, once you develop the habit of reading current affairs, then try to get this support either from free YouTube videos or from your institute. That is going to be of great help. And once you have built enough knowledge in a particular topic, let's say you have some basic idea of constitution, about social issues, something like that, then I will also try to start writing. In fact, you can start writing on general themes right now. For example, let's say you can think about women empowerment as a problem. And what you think about women empowerment, what are the existing problems and what are the solutions, what you think, right? Whatever you can write, but develop that habit of writing as soon as possible. These are some of the very basic things you can start with. And of course, as you read more and more, and automatically you'll find that a clear pathway will emerge. But don't hope that it is going to happen immediately. It will take some time. It will take some dedication, some effort, some discipline, but that is going to occur. That is going to emerge, okay? Done? Okay, so let me end this session. If nobody has any other question, you can show the answer in the end. इस पे हमने थोड़ी देर पहले डिस्कस किया था. कि विद इन साइंस टेक, जैसे हमारा एक हमने सेक्शन बनाया है विद इन साइंस टेक के कुछ टॉपिक्स हैं. अगर आप यूपीएससी के प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस देखोगे प्रीलिम्स और मेंस का, तो कुछ टॉपिक्स हैं साइंस टेक के. ये तो सिलेबस है, बट ये मेन थीम्स हैं साइंस टेक में. स्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी, एस्ट्रोनॉमी थीम है, आईसीटी थीम है. So within that topic, main topic of science and tech, I have all of these subtopics. And you will find कि अगर कोई technological development news में है, you will be able to fit that somewhere here. So आपका जो भी notes है, चाहे वो soft copy हो, hard copy हो, उसको एक specific place पे आपने उसको organize किया हुआ है. कि space technology का जो भी है, आपने एक जगह पे organize किया हुआ है. किसी और चीज़ का है, एक जगह पे आपने organize किया हुआ है, right? Anyways, before I end this session, because I have given this question and it is going to be on YouTube also, so let me briefly tell you the structure of these questions, and in the end, once I end this session, you can show your answer to me, those who are here. Anybody tried this question first? Okay, what did you write? Every का मतलब यहाँ पे क्या है? Be more specific. Electronic devices, mention that. Like every के बजाय electronic devices, mention that. Okay. Other what other points you wrote? I will come to all of you. Give me one point at least for all three of those things. Okay. Okay, जैसे? Okay, perfect. Now that is important. वो strategic में वो defense वाला part जो है वो अपने ठीक है. And technological benefit? ठीक है. That is also in overall, rather than relying upon other countries, doing things on yours own. Okay, what about the challenges part? Okay, that is not the first challenge I would ideally think, but ठीक है फिर भी. Okay, having silicon. What did you write? This session is going to end now, guys. अब बहुत लेट आए हो आप लोग. अच्छा मिलने आओ ठीक है. हाँ बताओ. Fantastic. That's a good introduction. Strong introduction. That's a good start. What else? Okay. Yeah. Hmm. So you should ideally do that in the last part of your, मतलब जो not conclusion, because you directly are jumping to the challenges part. You are essentially talking about the. Okay, ठीक है. Okay, huge depend. Okay, that's a fantastic point. Okay. Okay, ठीक है. That is technological benefit we can mention. Okay. Okay. Harmful for the environment in what way? Okay, ठीक है. Okay, ठीक है. Okay, ठीक है. I will take that point. That's a valid point. What did you write? So his starting point is that I found three different type of introduction. General introduction about how it is integral to everyday life, particularly electronics. Specific keywords such as use of important minerals, and current affairs basis that we have a dedicated government mission for the semiconductor manufacturing, right? So that is a different type of introduction. That's again a very good introduction. What else? Okay. 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 ठीक है. Give me examples. ठीक है. And technological benefits, what did you mention? What about challenges? Any unique apart from what they mentioned? Like, can you mention some specific challenges? Okay. Okay. Is there? Yeah. Some NOSCOM, there is a NASCOM, not some NASCOM. NASCOM is there. NASCOM as an organization is there. Yes. Yeah. ठीक है. Anybody who tried second question? Genome India project. Yes. What did you write? थोड़ा सा लाउड होना पड़ेगा आपको. सॉरी. ओके. इंट्रोडक्शन. ठीक है. Sorry, what was the third point? पेरेंटल डिस्प्यूट प्रॉब्लम्स जो होते हैं उसमें पूरे जीनोम सीक्वेंसिंग की जरूरत नहीं है, बट ठीक है, चलो आई विल टेक दैट पॉइंट. व्हाट एल्स? So you have touched upon the main themes. That's a good answer. You have touched. If you can just describe the basic objective, that complete sequencing of 10,000 Indians. One of the keyword will be the 10,000 Indians belonging to the ethnic diversity which India represents. So we have about like more than 4,600 ethnic groups, and the project ka focus ye hai that from every ethnic group at least 2 people, one male, one female. And we have completed genome sequencing of 10,000 people. So that's a good answer. That's a fantastic point, by the way. What else? Okay. ठीक है. ओके. ठीक है. ठीक है. Okay, a lot of times you have used the word targeted. I will not use that many times, but nonetheless, that's a good answer. Anyone who tried third question? Yes, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. What did you write? Just tell me the main bullet points. be more specific in the objectives. These are general points which should be written, ठीक है, but be more specific to the objective of Aditya L1. जैसे for example, you can talk about some of the basic scientific objectives of the mission, like events associated with sun. You wrote few things. Just a second. What was the third one, sorry? Sunspots, okay, okay. Did you also write the last part? Other missions across the world? Perfect. Okay. Fantastic. Very good conclusion. Okay. You should have mentioned that halo orbit Lagrangian point in the main body itself, but nonetheless, it's a good answer. You had something to say. Okay, ठीक है. Okay. Okay. That's a very good. So the addition will be that not only the events, but how those events impact Earth, and particularly the description of geomagnetic storm and what it can cause. That's a good addition to the answer. Okay, and one of the point, particularly in capabilities, I will definitely highlight that Lagrangian point insertion, that the halo orbit, attaining that is actually very, very difficult. And you have very few missions who have attained that. Anyone who tried the last question? Yes. आपने उसको भी हाईलाइट किया कि इंट्रोडक्शन में, बिकॉज यू आर मेंशनिंग ऑपरेशन सिंदूर, डिड यू ऑल्सो हाईलाइट कि पाकिस्तान का पूरा स्ट्रैटेजी यही था कि हम चीप ड्रोन्स के साथ साथ कुछ सोफिस्टिकेटेड ड्रोन्स भी हम यूज़ करें, तो पाकिस्तान के स्ट्रैटेजी में भी हाईलाइट, ठीक है कोई बात नहीं, मतलब हम लिख सकते हैं, द पॉइंट इज की, और ये एक हमारा, आई विल एक्सप्लेन दैट हाउ दिस कुड हैव बीन वन ऑफ द लाइक बुलेट पॉइंट्स इन माई मेन बॉडी. गो हेड, व्हाट एल्स यू हैव रिटन? Okay. बहुत ही बढ़िया एग्जांपल्स हैं. ठीक है. नहीं, बट ये सारे वैलिड पॉइंट्स हैं. प्रिसीजन अटैक, लेस, ठीक है, बढ़िया पॉइंट्स हैं. इंडिया के भी एग्जांपल्स लिखने चाहिए. इंडिया के जो पॉपुलर ड्रोन्स हैं, जो यूएवीज हैं, नागास्त्र है या हेरॉन है, या कुछ जो हैं आप लिख सकते हो, या एक और मैं भूल रहा हूँ बहुत ही पावरफुल, जो कुछ कामिकाज ड्रोन्स भी हमारे, जो लॉइटरिंग म्यूनिशंस है. नागास्त्र इज अ कामिकाज ड्रोन, राइट? तो ये हम कुछ लिख सकते हैं. हाँ, ये लिखा जा सकता है. एनीवेज, लेट मी ब्रीफली टेल यू द स्ट्रक्चर. फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज वेरी कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव, लॉट ऑफ पार्ट्स. I'll be very clear in what I'm writing. जैसे for example, एक तो part यही है, critically evaluate the necessity of developing a robust semiconductor manufacturing ecosystem in India. So I will start, that's a good introduction, that semiconductors का हम directly पहले बताएंगे कि हैं क्या and उनका necessity क्या है. That semiconductors are behind all type of modern computing electronic system which we see, and there is a reason that semiconductors give you that control over circuitry. ये लिखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, ये टेक्निकल जार्गन में कहीं जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. जस्ट मेंशनिंग दैट सेमीकंडक्टर्स आर बिहाइंड ईच एंड एवरी टेक्नोलॉजिकल डेवलपमेंट, ईच एंड एवरी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स वी आर डेवलपिंग, particularly in computing and communication. That's important. Why there is a necessity? Because right now we are completely dependent upon other countries, right? The fact that we are not even part of this entire supply chain, entire value chain involving modern electronics, that should be a cause of concern, right? So we should be at least an important stakeholder in that entire supply chain. And there are many reasons behind it, and all of those points which you mentioned, that it is because we have not explored our resources enough, we do not have invested in our capacity building into India, right? All of those things can be definitely mentioned. While because it is also about critical evaluation, uska ek part jo hai, ye last part bhi hai, challenges which we are going to get. So meanwhile I come to the challenges, I can talk about the benefits of developing this. Right, so I will not think of this as a separate part, पहले हमने इसको किया, फिर इसको किया, ये सब integrated part है. So just one point for each and every keyword is more than enough. Remember 250 word already, too many parts हैं. I will mention economic benefits. Economic benefits can be that, again, we can once, because it is so integral, then think of how much scope we as a nation can have in exporting this tool or developing this tool by ourselves for Indians. So not only for Indians, but also overall exporting to the other part of the world. Strategic benefit, हम बहुत सारी चीजें कर सकते हैं. 2-3 points हम focus कर सकते हैं, that how it allows collaboration with other nations, how it allows you to become part of a global value chain of the state-of-art technology, and how this is also very important from the perspective of defense, and that will also come under strategic significance. And technological benefits, I will further double down on the earlier point, that how it is behind all modern technology. Throw some words like AI or quantum computing, and you can think about that how developing a good semiconducting industry is key to having a good AI ecosystem or overall advancements in communication and computing. A lot of challenges. One of the challenges I was hoping that somebody, one of you will write, is that जो पूरा सेमीकंडक्टिंग इकोसिस्टम है उसमें कुछ कुछ कंपनीज का मोनोपोली है. जैसे हॉलैंड में कंपनी है LSM जो एक पूरा मशीन बनाती है, जो मशीन जो है वो लिथोग्राफी करता है. There is a technique called ultraviolet lithography that allows you to make very small chips made of silicon. अब ये जो कंपनी है ALSM which I am saying, ये मशीन बनाती है जो मशीन चिप बनाने में मदद करता है. बट दुनिया में एक लौती कंपनी है जो ये मशीन बनाती है और उसमें पूरा कंट्रोल यूएस का है. सो वन ऑफ द मेजर चैलेंज हियर इज दैट in this entire ecosystem of semiconducting, there are certain monopolies. And because strategically it is so significant that there is some sort of conflict happening between US and China, they both are trying to outdo each other in chip manufacturing. So in this conflict between two behemoths of the world right now, making a place for India is also going to be an issue, given the fact that you already have a monopoly. And I will agree to all of those earlier points about environmental problem. Another environmental problem is that जो पूरा semiconducting industry है इसको बिल्कुल ही pure water चाहिए. And pure का मतलब यहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा pure है, like 100% pure water चाहिए. And इसका जो waste है, waste management is a challenge. That lot of waste, electronic waste, हमारा capacity already कम है, and it is going to further add upon that. So we will do that. But at the same time, finally, I will conclude that despite those challenges, if nobody is asking that we should do each and everything in India, but we should be integral part of that entire supply chain ecosystem. So that is my complete answer. And there I can talk about either, just if I did not mention that government initiative in the introduction, then I can definitely mention that in the conclusion. That think of the recent developments which is happening in Gujarat or Uttar Pradesh, right, or even in Maharashtra, that those production link initiative schemes for semiconductor manufacturing, and this entire impetus upon that, I can mention that. Second question, simple straightforward question. Genome India project जो है, ये I can start my introduction with the objective itself. Objective is very simple, straightforward, that we are going to do complete genome sequencing of 10,000 Indians belonging to more than 4,600 ethnic groups. Why this is important? यहाँ पे आप थोड़ा बहुत सोसाइटी का अपना नॉलेज आप दिखा सकते हो कि we are ethnically very diverse country, and as a result जो अभी तक जीनोम सीक्वेंसिंग प्रोजेक्ट है उसमें कोई भी इंडियन रेफरेंस नहीं था. जैसे एक बहुत फेमस जीनोम सीक्वेंसिंग प्रोजेक्ट हुआ था 1990 में, दैट इज कॉल्ड ह्यूमन जीनोम प्रोजेक्ट, एंड बट देयर वाज नो सिंगल इंडियन जीनोम रेफरेंस डेटाबेस. So this is the first time that not only one but 10,000 Indians of different ethnic groups we have done this. ये हमारा ऑब्जेक्टिव है that complete genome. अगर if you want to write more, जैसे मान लो अगर आपका थोड़ा बहुत यहाँ पे आप थोड़ा बहुत टेक्निकल नॉलेज बता सकते हो, जैसे there is a scope of making a diagram of DNA molecule and showing those base pairs of adenine, thymine, guanine and cytosine, and simply mentioning that genome sequencing simply is that correct sequence of those nitrogenous base pairs. If you want to add your technical knowledge in this question, you can do that. Even if you are not doing that, it's perfectly fine. Directly go to the scope. Now scope involves a lot of things. How this can have applications in healthcare. For example, we do know that certain ethnic groups are more vulnerable to certain type of diseases. A lot of diseases are because of our genetic structure. So it is going to help us in finding better treatment for different type of diseases. Then second, we have certain diseases which are called genetic diseases. So what are the exact defects, genetic defects, which leads to genetic diseases among certain ethnic groups? We can know that also. Third, we can develop what is called personalized medicine. That's a very important keyword I'm going to mention, that it will help us in personalized medicine. Fourth, the application is not limited to healthcare. The application also includes anthropological studies, that how Indians are related or different from each other. That because when you do genome sequencing data, you can actually understand the evolutionary relationship between different ethnic groups. So genome sequencing project allows you to do that. And one more point you can add, that government has, it is a government-led project, but जो पूरा database है, it is stored somewhere in Haryana, and that data is available to public institutes as well as private research institutes. Goes without saying that the data has been anonymized. मतलब किसका data है ये नहीं पता, but this data is accessible to different research organizations. So one point we can definitely highlight is that how it allows you to do more research in biotechnology with help of this data point. Third question, significance of Aditya L1 mission advancing solar sciences, its implication of India's space research capability. अब directly mention करोगे, यहाँ पे भी बहुत ज़्यादा कुछ हमको elaborate introduction की ज़रूरत नहीं है क्या आदित्य L1 mission? क्या इसके ऑब्जेक्टिव्स हैं आप इमीडिएटली मेंशन करोगे? 7 साइंटिफिक इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स हैं. दे एम टू नो मोर अबाउट सन एंड इट्स लेयर्स. दे एम टू नो मोर अबाउट द इवेंट्स एसोसिएटेड विद सन लाइक सोलर विंड और कोरोनल मास इजेक्शन और सोलर फ्लेयर्स. दे एम टू know about their origin and also their impact, that how they can impact planet Earth depending upon their strength. In capability part, you'll definitely highlight that where it is located. The fact that it is 1.5 million kilometers away from Earth in an orbit called halo orbit around a point called Lagrange point, and in this question there is a scope of making a diagram. So I would expect that you make a beautiful diagram of Earth and Sun and L1 point and that halo orbit around L1 point, right? And then in the last part, you'll talk about like 2 or 3 missions, like you can talk about Parker probe, that was a very good example. So you can talk about Parker probe, which as of now is traveling inside solar corona. You can talk about SOHO mission of NASA. There was a Helios mission of ESA, you can mention that. There was a PROBA mission of ESA which was launched by ISRO, you can mention that. So even 3 or 4 missions if you mention and just describe them in one line what they are, that's more than enough, okay? And last but not the least, robotics and unmanned aerial vehicles. Robotics as a theme has not been asked by UPSC, but I do think that इस साल इस पे आ सकता है. तो warfare जो है, अभी तक जो भी हमने warfare देखा है, this has included weapon systems which are very expensive, manned by person. So as a result, when we think of cost and when we think of loss, then it is both loss of life and money. So now we have this method of warfare where you can use robots and drones. And पहला तो एक economic benefit है that and दूसरा benefit जो है कि in how many ways you can use these things. तो drones का खाली ये use नहीं है that you can use it to deliver weapon. Of course you can do that. So I will start with that This allow you to have a precision attack at a very specific place at very low cost. But that is not the only application. There is something called kamikaze drone or loitering munitions as it is called. You'll talk about that those loitering munitions, they hover around a target, and the moment they find a suitable target, they destroy themselves, and as a result, they also destroy the target. Then you'll talk about that there are certain drones which are only and only for reconnaissance purpose, that they are very small, but they are equipped with very powerful cameras, and they can help you in intelligence gathering. Then there is something called swarm drones, that the same way army attacks in one unit. It's not, remember, warfare is never about one person doing heroism. ये Bollywood में होता है. Warfare is all about that how you behave as a unit. आपका chain of command कितना clear है. Of course, within that there will be heroism, but warfare is about strategy. So now the strategy is that you do not attack with one, but you attack with hundreds of drones together in a specific formation. That is called swarm drone. ये पाकिस्तान का strategy था, that they were using a lot of cheap drones, and in that, between those cheap drones, they also had some really sophisticated drones with the purpose of knowing our air defense system, that where S-400 is located or where other air defense system is located. But it's good that our air defense system worked well and most of those drones were destroyed. So ये भी हम लिख सकते हैं that how it can help in intelligence gathering, right? Strategic advantages, we'll talk about all of those advantages I just mentioned. Challenges, in general we can talk about challenges. Challenges can be, capability can be a challenge, lack of manufacturing in India can be a challenge, skill set can be a challenge. ये सारी चीज़ें हम India specific challenges हम बात कर सकते हैं. And other challenges we can definitely mention that they will have, of course, we can talk about ethics of things, we can always mention that. And in terms of capability, we can also mention that compared to the projection of power, which occurs with help of, let's say, more powerful weapons, drones do not have the same capability. As if you have an aircraft carrier, if you have a ballistic missile, that is a projection of power. If you have a lot of drones, then that's not a projection of power. So if you have a ballistic missile, then in a way, it's a warning to enemy nations that we have this capability. And you can avert an war just by having a warning. It drones se nahi hoga. It's not a very good argument, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. That power projection happens with more powerful weapons like supersonic cruise missiles, hypersonic cruise missiles, 5th generation fighter jets, all of that. It does not happen with help of only and only drones. And goes without saying that we can talk about ethics of things. That you can always do as a point, right? So write down all of these answers, at least some of those answers, right? And all the best, guys. If you have any questions, by the way, feel free to send me a mail. All the best, guys, for your preparation.
The UPSC exam doesn't defeat you with difficulty. It defeats you with confusion, lack of clarity, lack of direction, and preparation that feels scattered. At Vision IAS Delhi, we rebuild your UPSC journey with structure, strategy, and support that doesn't waver. Get complete coverage of GSC, SAT, and essays step by step, PT 365 and Mains 365, so current affairs stop feeling like chaos. Personal mentorship, not just advice, but actual strategy guidance. Test feedback loops, because growth begins where guesswork ends. Toppers didn't just prepare, they built the right foundation. Now it's your turn. This isn't just a course, it's where clarity, consistency, and confidence begin. The UPSC exam doesn't defeat you with difficulty. It defeats you with confusion, lack of clarity, lack of direction, and preparation that feels scattered. At Vision IAS Delhi, we rebuild your UPSC journey with structure, strategy, and support that doesn't waver. Get complete coverage of GSC, SAT, and essays step by step, PT 365 and Mains 365, so current affairs stop feeling like chaos. Personal mentorship, not just advice, but actual strategy guidance. Test feedback loops, because growth begins where guesswork ends. Toppers didn't just prepare, they built the right foundation. Now it's your turn. This isn't just a course, it's where clarity, consistency, and confidence begin.